Right now! Right now! What is that? What is that? What is that?
No, it ain't.
It's a drone, bro. It's a government drone. It's taking pictures of us and sending it up the
It's
satellite.
a cocoon that's fixing to be an alien jump up out of there.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from demonic possessions to ghosts taking over ambulances that may just leave you shocked. Ready? Let's jump in. Do you believe in demons? Wait, is that a strange question to start the day's episode with? Well, let's watch our first clip and then we'll understand my question. I'm not exactly sure where this is, but in the clip we see a man moving through some bushes where out of nowhere a dark shadow comes out. And well, I'm not exactly sure what it does, but it appears to jump onto the man and then disappear into the bushes. I want to call this a shadow creature, but Aaron, our in-house conspiracy theorist and all things paranormal, believes this might actually be a demon. Looking at it, I get why he thinks that, but while I love all things otherworldly and paranormal, this just feels sus. I can't place my finger on it, but that's how I feel looking at it. A closer look at the clip and you'll realize that there appears to be men in white protective suits. A commentator on the original post had this to say: "If you ask me, he's onto something there. If it's indeed a murder site, perhaps we may be looking at a demonic entity responsible for the deaths, or one that's manifested from the deaths." If anyone told me I'd start an episode with a clip like this, I would have laughed, but here it is. The question on everyone's mind is this: what exactly are we looking at? Animals all have unique ways to ensure their safety and survival in the ecosystem. Now let's look at this extraordinary method used by a particular species of fish.
那这个尾巴你看这些都哭笨笨的了啦，哭成这个样子。他们说这个鱼晒几个钟都不死，是吧？这个应该有几个钟了，看没有？都成了这个样子，全部成了枯柴了。啊，我们今天拿一条鲨看一下，还有这个他们说遇水就能动起来，看一下是不是真的？来，我试一下，拿点这个神奇的洞洞啊，来看一下，来看有没有反应？喂喂。
What you're seeing here might look like dried, lifeless fish, but they're not dead. In fact, the person who found them even breaks off a piece of the fin on one of them, and there's no reaction. It seems completely dried out and motionless. But watch this. As soon as the person pours water into the fish's mouth, it starts to move. It's like it comes back to life. This might seem like magic, but it's actually a fascinating survival technique. These fish are a type of catfish, and they have an extraordinary ability to survive in extreme conditions. During dry seasons, when water sources are dry, they can enter a state of estivation, which is similar to hibernation, but in response to hot and dry conditions instead of cold. They slow down their metabolism significantly, and they can remain in this state for months until water returns. When water finally returns to their environment, it rehydrates them and triggers their own return to normal activity. This ability to essentially come back to life when water is available is a remarkable adaptation that ensures their survival during harsh conditions. This video was taken in China, where a huge red glow was captured behind the clouds, and that was not all. Small white glows were coming from all directions towards the bigger red glow. As soon as the smaller lights reached the red glow, they vanished. This phenomena was even more striking at night, with the red glow appearing more prominent against the dark sky. It looked like the smaller white orbs were drawn to the big red one, almost as if they were being summoned. Everyone had one question on their mind. What could these be? One popular theory suggested that this could be evidence of an alien mothership with smaller ships returning to it. This would explain the organized movements of the smaller orbs toward the larger globe. Others believe it could be a natural atmospheric event, perhaps related to some unknown type of aurora or electrical discharge. Others speculate it could be a military vehicle. Others speculate it could be a secret military experiment involving advanced drones or aircraft. What's your take? Still on the topic of UFOs, we have another intriguing sighting to discuss. Unfortunately, the exact location of this footage was not provided.
Right now! Right now! Right now! What is that? What is that? What is that?
In the clip, a strange light appears in the sky, almost like a burst of energy squirming in the atmosphere with an unusual glow surrounding it. As you watch, the two oddly shaped orbs emerge from this light. I mean, they might not be orbs, but from the distance, that's what they look like. One of the orbs moves to the left and the other to the right. After a brief separation, the orb on the left changes course and follows the one on the right. What adds to the mystery is the apparent intelligence behind the orb's actions. If they were simply random lights or natural occurrences, we wouldn't expect to see such purposeful behavior. This has led to many to conclude that we may indeed be dealing with UFOs. Perhaps they only look like orbs because their lights are that bright. Some even suggested that the bright light is nothing more than a portal through which they came. You've seen the clip too. What do you think?
Right now! Right now! Right now! What is that? What is that? What is that?
This next footage was taken back in 2011 in Russia. A man was out hiking in the woods when he stumbled upon something truly remarkable. Walking among the trees was a huge creature covered in brown fur from head to toe. It stood about 8 feet tall with massive muscles that were clearly visible even under its thick coat. The creature swung its very long arms as it took huge strides through the forest, moving with an unexpected grace for something so large. The hiker managed to capture a few minutes of this extraordinary sight before the clip ended. Could this be true proof that Bigfoot is actually out there? After all, the figure matches many descriptions from eyewitnesses over the years. Towering height, immense strength, and a covering of dark fur. The long arms and fluid motion are also consistent with previous reports and alleged sightings. Julius argues that this is a person in a costume, but the sheer size and natural movement of the creature makes this explanation less likely. Aaron believes that Julius lost this round and that the paranormal allegiance, which is a name he gave to all believers in the paranormal, has won. What say you? There have been a lot of archaeological findings of mummies with strange body proportions discovered in different parts of the world. Some people claim that they're merely dolls made from bones, and others believe these mummies are evidence of aliens that once roamed the earth. Take a look at this alien-looking mummy that was retrieved from Peru. This mummy is a tridactyl, meaning it has 3 fingers and toes. It's very small, about the size of a baby, and is almost coiled up like in a fetal position. When you look at the head, it's huge and elongated, with eyes set very far apart. The facial structure is unlike anything seen in typical human mummies, giving it an undeniably otherworldly appearance. Scientists and researchers have been puzzled by such findings. Some argue that these mummies could be the result of genetic anomalies or intentional cranial deformation practices common in ancient cultures. However, the tridactyl nature and peculiar proportions make it challenging to fit these mummies into any known category of human remains. Skeptics suggest these could be an elaborate hoax or ritual artifacts crafted by ancient civilizations, but for those who believe in extraterrestrial life, these mummies are compelling evidence of alien beings visiting or even living on Earth in the distant past. To them, these beings are nothing more than hybrids of aliens and humans. What do you think? In 2000, scientist Clifford Carnicom embarked on an investigation collecting environmental samples from a mountain in New Mexico. What he discovered was both perplexing and unsettling. Unidentifiable fibers that do not exist in nature. Under the microscope, these fibers resembled tubular formations found in human blood, tissues, and skin. Upon further testing, these fibers were identified as dried red blood cells. This discovery raises significant questions. How are dried red blood cells present in the air, and what could be the origin of these fibers that seem to survive in the environment? The implications are profound. If these fibers are indeed present in both the environment and human bodies, understanding their nature and origin could be crucial for public health and safety. Are they a new form of environmental contaminant, or do they suggest something more extraordinary? Still on strange things in nature, this creature was found washed up on the seashore. As you can see, it has a pair of arms and a fish-like body, but its face looks very alien-like. Unlike typical fish, its body did not have scales. It was smooth and darker in color. Its combination of human-like arms, a fish body, and an alien-like face suggests something out of the ordinary. As usual, speculation is rife. Some people believe it could be a mutated sea creature affected by environmental changes or pollution. Others think it might be an undiscovered marine species that dwell in the unexplored depths of the ocean. There are even those who suggest it could be evidence of extraterrestrial life or a hybrid creature resulting from unknown experiments. What do you think this creature could be? Ever seen anything like it? A whitish, long creature with a crocodile-shaped head, two short arms close to the head, and a very long body that brings to mind a sperm. Don't get me wrong, but for its head, it would really look like a sperm. As much as I would love to tell you this is edited footage, the truth is that it's not. It's a creature that exists in real life, called the Olm. For those unfamiliar, like me until a few hours ago, the Olm is an amphibian that lives in the waters of subterranean caves in Europe. Unlike most amphibians, Olms are entirely aquatic. They eat, sleep, and breed underwater. They've adapted to their dark environment by losing their eyesight and developing heightened senses of smell and hearing. They are fascinating creatures, often referred to as human fish due to their pale skin-like color. Despite their eerie appearance, Olms are quite harmless. I know what some of you are thinking: exotic pets. Banish that thought. Here we have another intriguing piece of evidence: a mummified alien creature supposedly retrieved from the Andean mountains in Peru after a UFO landing back in 1974. This video, taken in 2007, shows the same characteristics we've come to associate with alleged alien beings: a large head and small body. The story goes that locals witnessed a UFO landing, a well-known tale among residents. However, the military swiftly intervened, sweeping the incident under the rug and dismissing it as a fabrication to the rest of the world. But it seems not everything was erased. In 2007, researchers discovered that some individuals had arrived at the scene before the military and managed to retrieve the body of a dead alien from the craft. They kept it hidden all these years until the footage surfaced. What do you think about this? Is it possible that the military covered up a genuine UFO encounter? Could this mummified creature be proof of extraterrestrial life, or is it just another elaborate hoax? This video was taken from a security camera set at a road checkpoint in an unnamed location. It shows a dark shadow moving under the barriers, pausing for a moment and then continuing on. This shadow seems to take calculated steps, almost as if it has a mind of its own. This rules out the idea that it might just be a regular shadow. Considering the footage was taken at night, it raises even more questions. How was there a shadow without a main body in the first place? To this, Aaron has a simple answer. It's a shadow creature. Given how the shadow moves with purpose and intelligence, I'm tempted to believe this is true. Obviously, Julius objects. He thinks it's edited footage, but then again, he thinks all such clips are. What do you guys think, though? A sign of the supernatural for you, or an attempt by ordinary men to mislead the masses? Let's hear your thoughts. I'm very certain none of you has seen anything like these dark-colored, peculiar things. The individual filming has an object in his hand, and as he taps these things, or creatures with it, they retract and shrink. To an extent, they look like trees, well, mini ones. Instead of having leaves on top, the top part is bulbous and sticky. Looking at them, one has to agree that they have a strange, almost alien-like appearance. The fact that their sticky bulbous top reacts to a touch adds some credence to the alien description. Could they be some form of rare species we haven't encountered before, or perhaps a fungal growth with unique defensive mechanisms? Julia stepped out when I was working on this aspect of the script and won't be back till this script goes live, so I can't give a lot of scientific facts. If any of you out there can, the comment section is all yours. Please educate us. A security camera stationed outside a home overlooking the roadside captured something strange. In the dead of night, a woman appeared out of nowhere by a pillar holding a bag as she walked briskly away. It's very odd how she just appears there, almost like she materialized out of thin air. And she doesn't seem fazed. It's as if she knew the exact moment she would appear. What exactly are we witnessing here? A few theories have emerged. Some suggest she might be a time traveler appearing suddenly from another era. Others speculate that she could have some sort of teleportation ability or supernatural power. And then there are those who believe this is a classic example of a glitch in the Matrix, a momentary lapse in our perceived reality. I mean, I get them for thinking that, but am I the only one thinking of Platform 9 3/4 from Harry Potter?
See if I can find it. There it goes.
It's a government camera.
Yeah.
Here, I'll do this, that way you know it's for real.
It is for real. It is.
Yeah. But you can't see, it's a drone.
No, it ain't.
It's a drone, bro. It's a government drone. It's taking pictures of us. It's sending it up the
It's
satellite.
a cocoon that's fixing to be an alien jump up out there. Yeah.
When I saw this footage and listened to the voices in the background, it reminded me of Aaron and Julius and their little banters about things like this. In the footage, two men noticed something flying over them. It had an odd shape, and you could hear a loud buzzing sound like the wings of a giant insect. One of the men was convinced that it was a government spy drone capturing footage of them from above. The other, however, thought it was an alien craft. Taking a critical look at it, it looks like it's very light. This makes me feel that it might be nothing more than maybe a balloon or something similar filling the air. There's also the possibility of it being poorly edited footage, but then again, perhaps this is just the skeptic in me. What say you?
But you can't see, it's a drone.
No, it ain't.
It's a drone, bro. It's a government drone. It's taking pictures of us. It's sending it up the
It's
satellite.
a cocoon that's fixing to be an alien jump up out there. Yeah.
Do you know what a rainbow body is? It's an extraordinary concept from Tibetan Buddhism and other spiritual traditions. A rainbow body refers to a remarkable state of spiritual achievement where advanced practitioners, upon death, transform their physical bodies into light. These images and footage shows various Buddhists who were said to have attained the rainbow body. Remarkably, their bodies appear to have shrunk significantly or completely disappeared, leaving only hair, nails, and sometimes clothing behind. This phenomena is considered the culmination of profound spiritual practice and enlightenment. Witnesses have reported seeing the bodies emit a spectrum of rainbow colors or dissolve into pure light. The phenomenon is tied to the practice of Dzogchen, which involves recognizing and realizing the true nature of consciousness and existence. While the concept sounds interesting and intriguing, we've never really captured it on camera. We only have the testimonies of men to go by. What do you think, though? A reality or fables made up by the religious? This footage was allegedly recorded by a scientist who collected a dead alien specimen for an autopsy. As you can see, it looks lifeless, with its skin being a pinkish hue fading to pale. The creature's very small, about the size of a baby, but it appears to be fully matured. It's missing its arms and has a cut on the side of its head, which seems like a recent injury. Some people claim this is just a hoax, possibly a man-made latex model crafted to look like an alien. They argue that the details are too convenient and the timing suspicious. However, there are others who firmly believe this is the real deal. What do you think? Are we looking at genuine extraterrestrial remains, or is this just another case of a clever fabrication? Now, I've heard many talk about demonic possession and what have you, but I've never seen it in action, at least not like this. Someone sent this in claiming it was from a demonic possession session he witnessed. He wasn't sure if it was the real deal or if he was just being scammed. Sure, the Vatican has warned us over the years that demons do exist and they do take over individuals who live in sin, but I never thought I'd see it. Now, we love to find and discuss paranormal stuff, but without being present, we can't ascertain if this is real or not. The individual who sent it in suspected it could be a performance to captivate unsuspecting believers and seekers of relief with the paranormal. You've seen the clip. What do you think? Have you ever met a man who could talk to the stars? No? Well, then this clip is yours to watch.
Beautiful ones. That's absolutely beautiful. My gracious, dear ones. Love y'all. Wow.
In the clip, we see some strange-looking lights in the atmosphere. I'm not sure if it's purple, mauve, or violet, so I'm not going to mention a color. I know you guys won't forgive me in the comment section for that. While the strange lights are the star of the show, what's even more puzzling is the voice in the clip. The man appears to be talking to the lights. He showers affectionate words on it and call me crazy, but it seems like whatever it is attached or responding to his words. Some of those who saw the original post believe that the lights may be UAPs or a UFO. They mention that the guy's appellations could be a sign that he's some sort of special connection to these lights, crafts, or beings within it. Another commenter made an interesting point. As controversial and interesting as that might sound, we've no way of confirming it. So what do you guys think? Is a man capable of talking to the stars? A man who is friends with a UFO? Or is a man manipulating the masses to think he's capable of all that? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
Hey, sweet friends. That is truly fantastic. Love you too. Absolutely love you, friends. Thank you for always being there for me. Choked myself up. Wow, look at you. Hey! Beautiful.
Look at that fucking devil, evil face, man. He's coming over like he's got doom and gloom over fucking Leveland.
Yeah,
He's looking right at us, man.
that shit's fucking crazy. Wait up, let me go.
Doom and loom. I'm telling you, Leveland's been fucking getting fucked this year, this summer. And this is the area where it's got fucked the most. But that is nuts. That is like a real life fucking devil face. I'm coming for you.
Still on strange occurrences in the sky, a man captured this striking cloud formation that looks like a giant devil in the sky with a menacing look. Just look at that. The details are eerily uncanny, with what seems to be a face complete with horns and a sinister expression. It's very scary to think about seeing such an ominous figure looming in the clouds. This phenomena is likely an example of pareidolia, where the human brain perceives familiar patterns such as faces in random or ambiguous visuals. However, it's fascinating how nature can sometimes create these spooky and awe-inspiring sights. Whether you see it as a natural coincidence or something more, it's certainly a chilling and memorable sight.
And this is the area where it's got fucked the most. But that is nuts. That is like a real life fucking devil face. I'm coming for you.
Two men were out in the woods one night when they came across this intriguing sight. It appears to be a mound covered in moss with a hatch on top. Curiously, they opened the hatch, which led them into a chamber with what looked like a pool of water in it and a tunnel on the side. They decided to explore the tunnel, but it seemed they could not get to the end. Well, at least in the footage they didn't. They followed the tunnel path, crouching as they walked through the tunnel, and it was not big enough to stand upright. The walls were damp and the air felt musty, suggesting it had been undisturbed for a long time. The tunnel seemed to stretch endlessly into the darkness, and one can only imagine what might lie at the end. Was it an old, forgotten hideout, a natural cave system, or perhaps something more mysterious? Kindly share your thoughts. Researchers at Malatya İnönü University in Turkey have come up with a super cool lightweight material designed to protect drones from laser weapons. This advanced material can withstand temperatures over 2,600 degrees centigrade, making it incredibly resilient. It's crafted using a combination of tiny particles, metal oxides, and boron minerals, which contribute to its high heat resistance and durability. This innovation is particularly significant in the context of modern warfare and drone technology, where lasers are increasingly used as a weapon due to their precision and effectiveness. The new material not only offers protection, but also ensures that drones can continue to operate in extreme conditions, enhancing their reliability and performance in critical missions. Finally, we are a step closer to being able to fend off aliens. That, at least, was my first impression when I saw this clip. I know the love of all things paranormal is getting to me, but who can say that didn't cross their minds? Over the years, there have been numerous reports of children mysteriously going missing at Disneyland. Recently, I came across a video on TikTok that might shed some light on these incidents. Take a look. In the footage, someone presses a button on the wall and a portion of the tiled floor slides open, revealing a staircase leading underground. When the button is pressed again, the floor closes up, seamlessly blending back into its surroundings. Intrigued by this, I delved into the comments section and found an interesting discussion. Someone asked me where this footage was filmed, and the poster claimed it was in one of the bathrooms at Disneyland. Rumors suggest that this secret staircase might be how children are being taken when parents momentarily lose sight of them, only to find them missing moments later. Naturally, many others were skeptical. What do you think of this? Is this really in Disneyland? Did you see the shoe rack too? Anyway, if anyone has more information or can confirm this, please share your insights in the comments section. Now, this is why you should not mess with Ouija boards. Two guys had a sleepover, and before they retired to bed, they played with a Ouija board. Later that night, one of them woke up to thumping sounds coming from the wall.
You recorded me for. You're here. Listen.
So he woke his friend up. He then walked up to his closet to check, but there was nothing there, even though the sound persisted. Next, he opened another door that led to what looked like an empty room. However, in the empty room, there was a dark shadow by the wall. As soon as he saw it, he shut the door immediately. Could it be that the boys accidentally summoned a ghost or spirit while playing with the Ouija board? Or are they trying to mislead us for their 5 minutes of fame? Share your thoughts. This footage was taken on Mount Athos by a man who was up there hiking. For those unfamiliar with it, Mount Athos, also known as the Holy Mountain, is a significant spiritual and monastic center located on the peninsula in northern Greece. People usually go there to pray and seek spiritual guidance, so I'm guessing this is how this footage was taken. From a distance, you can see a hazy figure that has a rainbow around it. That is believed to be the invisible monk of Mount Athos. Legend has it that an unnamed monk who had lived a pure and holy life and was dedicated to asceticism and prayer was rewarded with invisibility and would only appear to those in need of spiritual guidance. Could it be that he'd come to fulfill the need of that man filming that he was not aware of? While we think of that, Julius believes this clip is edited. Now, Julius always has this stance when it comes to these kinds of videos, but could he be wrong today? Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comments section below. Do you know you can make electricity at home? Yes, you can. All you need is a lemon. Without you asking, allow me to tell you. Yes, Julius insisted we add this section to today's episode, so please enjoy it so he can keep giving us logical answers. Now, back to our electricity experiment. Firstly, take a copper or brass nail and a zinc nail. Stick both into the lemon, making sure they don't touch each other. This setup acts as a simple battery. From the demonstration, the voltage was measured using a voltmeter, and there you see it, less than 1 volt of electricity. The science behind it is pretty fascinating. The lemon juice acts as an electrolyte, facilitating a chemical reaction between the copper and zinc. This reaction creates a small electrical current. While it's not enough to power your home, it's a fun and educational experiment to understand the basis of electricity and chemical reactions. To take it a step further, you can connect multiple lemons in a series to increase the voltage, and by doing so, you can power small devices like an LED light or a digital clock. I know we show paranormal stuff on CCTVs all the time, but never have we shown you something like this. Take a look. First, we're introduced to a lady who's just sitting in a hall minding her business. She starts looking around as if there was something or someone with her. After a few seconds, a chair moves, startling and making her dive into the opposite direction. You would think this is the end, but no, we wait a few more seconds and the whole furniture in the place moves to the left direction, taking the woman with them. Now, obviously, there's an unseen force moving things. The question now is, what is that unseen force and what has the woman got to do with it? I can't use the hoax line for this video because of this particular comment. The individual confirms it happened in Malaysia. I'm not going to Julius for an explanation on this one. I'm coming to you guys. What do you think is happening here? These strange skulls were found in a chest by archaeologists. The chest was marked with the sign of what is believed to be a German occult organization. This organization was known for hunting down relics and artifacts, often with a mysterious and supernatural reputation. The big question is, how did they come into contact with these strange skulls? As with many questions on this channel, we don't have a definite answer. The skulls have a very odd shape. The top part is unusually fat and elongated. The eye sockets are extremely large, and the jaws are much longer than we see in human skulls. Some people believe these skulls might be of extraterrestrial origin, suggesting that they could belong to aliens who visited Earth in the distant past. Others propose that these could be the remains of lizard people, an idea that has its roots in various conspiracy theories about reptilian humanoids living amongst us. What do you think? Back in 1901, some divers were exploring a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. As they sifted through the wreckage, they stumbled upon something truly extraordinary, a strange, wheel-like object. Intrigued, they brought it to the surface and scientists began to examine it. What they discovered left them absolutely stunned. This peculiar artifact turned out to be an ancient computer, now known as the Antikythera mechanism. This 2,000-year-old device was a complex system of gears and wheels used to calculate the cycles of the cosmos. It's often considered the world's first analog computer, capable of predicting astronomical positions and eclipses with remarkable precision. The existence of the Antikythera mechanism raises some fascinating questions about the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations. We often hear about conspiracies suggesting that humanity once reached a peak of technological advancement before experiencing a catastrophic event, a great reset that thrust us back into the Stone Age. Could this ancient computer be proof that such advanced knowledge existed long before we ever imagined? This couple was busily filming themselves doing some acrobatic moves. You know, those cute couple videos where the guy lifts the girl and they strike a perfect pose together. They were fully concentrating on their routine when something unexpected happened. Out of nowhere, a book from the shelf by the wall just flings itself off and lands on the floor. Now here's the interesting part. The couple was nowhere near the shelf. They were completely focused on their pose far away from where the book fell. But if you look closely at the footage, you'll notice the cat. Yes, their cat was standing by, looking intently at the exact spot where the book landed, almost as if it was sensing something unusual. What do you make of this? Is this a case of paranormal activity, or is there a more logical explanation?
I see this thing. This thing is. What is this? What is this?
And for those of you who haven't already guessed, this is what people believe to be the makeshift homes that those elusive large beasts, Bigfoot, might build. Take a look at these rectangular-shaped structures in the woods. They're made of tree branches, carefully and methodically put together. Just look at that craftsmanship. The man behind the camera stumbled upon this in the middle of the forest, and right next to the structure, he found a pile of rocks that looked like it could have been used as a fireplace. These structures are fascinating because they're not just random piles of branches. They show a level of intention and design that you wouldn't expect to find in the wild without human intervention. The branches are intertwined in such a way that suggests shelter-building skills. So what do you think? Are these real Bigfoot shelters, or are they man-made?
I see this thing. This thing is. What is this? What is this?
Next, I've got something that's gonna blow your mind. Would you look at that? A real-life Pikachu. It's brightly colored yellow with black spots on the tips of its ears and tail. The creature walks on all fours, but it isn't as chubby as Pikachu. This little guy looks like it walked straight out of a Pokemon game and into our world. With its vibrant yellow fur and those distinct black markings, it's easy to see why people are calling it a real-life Pikachu. Nature is full of surprises, and we've seen animals with unusual colorations before, thanks to genetic mutations or selective breeding. There are species of animals, like certain rodents or marsupials, that might develop unique color patterns that resemble our beloved Pikachu. However, the chances of finding a naturally occurring animal with such precise coloring and markings are incredibly slim. So the big question is it real or AI generated? What you're seeing here are known as iridescent clouds, a rare and breathtaking phenomena that looks like it's straight out of a fantasy movie. Iridescent clouds are formed when tiny water droplets or ice crystals in the cloud scatter and diffract light, creating a stunning array of colors that shimmer and change as the clouds move. The result is a sky painted with hues of pink, green, purple, and blue, often appearing in soft pastel shades. It's like nature's very own light show. These clouds are most commonly seen near the sun, often around cumulus or lenticular clouds, and they're best viewed when the sun is low in the sky, either just after sunrise or just before sunset. The delicate and transient beauty of iridescent cloud makes them a truly magical sight to behold. But here's the catch. Because they're so rare and fleeting, catching a glimpse of iridescent clouds can feel like spotting a unicorn. It requires just the right conditions, the presence of high-altitude clouds, tiny and uniform particles within the clouds, and, of course, the perfect angle of sunlight. Throughout history, iridescent clouds have inspired awe and wonder, often being mistaken for supernatural or mystical events. In some cultures, they're seen as omens or messages from the divine. Today we understand the science behind them, but that doesn't make them any less enchanting. Have you ever seen an ancient Jewish scroll? No? Well, today you're in luck. When he starts taking out the parchment, it looks old and worn out. It doesn't look like anything special, but once he's done unwrapping, we see the scroll in its ancient beauty. Nothing can beat that golden glowing text and the illustration within it. Do we have any Jew or archaeologist here to confirm the authenticity of what we're seeing? If you're here, please let your voices be heard in the comments section, or rather, your texts be seen. Please confirm or disprove this for us. We're very interested and intrigued. Next, we set our gaze on Mexico in the year 2021. You see it too, don't you? It appears to be some black craft or structure capable of levitating. The individuals filming were in their cars when they noticed the strange object in the sky. Seeing it, they then decided to film. And it's not one person filming, but multiple individuals, which is meant to allude to the fact that this is genuine. Let's assume it is genuine for one moment. What do you think this is? Aaron believes it's some sort of alien scouting ship searching through our atmosphere. Without bringing Julius into the equation, a part of me thinks aliens won't be that reckless in blowing their cover. Aaron is, however, still insisting that this has to be an alien craft, either that or a military craft being tested. My stance on both possibilities remain to be seen. What do you guys think? Still on freaky things, there's this Trailcam footage of what looks like a deer with mutated antlers. Imagine reviewing footage from your Trailcam video and coming across what looks like a deer but is seemingly not. The owner of the Trailcam believes it's a deer with abnormal antler growth, which might explain its odd appearance and inability to move properly. But what if it's not? What if there's more? What if it's actually alien? Before you throw this out the window, take a look at the footage. Do you see those two dots that look like light? It's the wild. What at all could be there? Unless it's a spaceship belonging to that deer-like creature, what if it's unable to walk properly because it's now getting used to our planet's atmosphere and gravity? I know I sound like I'm losing it, but think about it. Many of us are familiar with cyclops, which are one-eyed men, but what about one-eyed animals? Well, they do exist, and quite a number of them have been documented in literature on the subject, but not many have seen it, at least not until this footage of this goat in India. Looks like something from a horror film, I know, but to scientists, the existence of this goat is nothing short of a miracle. Typically, those diagnosed with this condition, which is officially called cyclopia, do not survive for long. But this particular goat, succeeded in doing so for days, then weeks, and then months. Science says this occurs when the embryonic forebrain of the animal fails to divide into two separate hemispheres during fetal development. Sounds technical, I know. But what if, just what if this creature was no biological accident? What if it was a goat that belonged to one of the Greek gods? What if there's more to it than we're actually seeing? Far-fetched? Let me know what you think in the comments section. In the eerie month of January 2017, under the cloak of night, a vigilant security personnel caught something extraordinary on camera. Draven, the observer of countless enigmatic events during his night shifts, couldn't believe his eyes when he witnessed this phenomena. In the shadowy footage, a mysterious glowing object gracefully glides closer to the camera, casting an otherworldly glow that seems to defy the laws of nature and then goes out of frame. Confused by what he was seeing, Draven uploaded the clip online, asking the paranormal community for help. Some dubbed it the Spirit Orb, which is a vessel for ethereal entities and ghosts. Others wonder if it holds ancient energies or levitating beings from realms beyond our comprehension. As for my own conjecture, I can't help but wonder if it's an interstellar traveler or an alien spacecraft silently exploring our world, seeking an unknown destination. What do you think? Do you believe in spirits? Did you just answer no? Well then, how on earth do you explain this? Check it out. A translucent or transparent being darting across the frame of a trail camera. Spooky, right? Imagine setting up your trail camera to capture wildlife and then, bam, this unexpected visitor shows up. We've got to admit, something's definitely off in the footage. But you know what's even more puzzling? We can't figure out what it is. It's like chasing shadows in the dark. You know, something's there, but it eludes your grasp. Could it be a hoax, a well-crafted trick to play with our minds? Or is it something else, something beyond our comprehension, tapping into the supernatural? Tell us what you think in the comments section. Alligators are known for many things, but patience is certainly not one of them, especially now that humans are encroaching on their territory. This alligator has had enough and did not hesitate to make it known. The young man went fishing, threw in his bait, and then got chased. He's lucky that there was only one alligator around at that moment. Imagine if there were more. Imagine if that particular alligator was actually closer. The story would have ended differently. Much, much differently. Alligators don't like being disturbed and would not take it kindly if you tried fishing on their waters. They would become defensive and attack. You, on the other hand, if you're not lucky, may end up with one less limb. Stay away from the gators. Still on mothers and their babies, take a look at Mama Raccoon and her kits. Just in case you didn't know, baby raccoons are called kits. And no, she's not trying to drown them, she's playing with them. If it were to be me and my mom, it would sound something like, "Junior, come back here and take your bath." "No, Mama, I'm clean. I took my bath last week." Believe it or not, that's just how it used to go with my mom and me. I bathe every day. Anyway, coming back to the raccoons, much like the baby bears we saw earlier, playing together helps them bond and learn. But then again, this has to happen in a safe and trusted environment like the deer. Thanks to trail cameras, we can record and enjoy intimate moments like these. I don't know about you, but I find this fascinating. It's noon, and an unknown person is recording this video clip. The video clip captures the unknown person's breathing, the sounds of birds tweeting, dogs barking, and the individual's footsteps on the sandy ground, all audibly picked up by the camera. Surrounding the individual are numerous trees, a puddle of water, and a moving stream. Everything seems to be quite ordinary in your typical woods, with the individual recording going about their day as usual. That was at least until his camera zoomed in on an unrecognizable black creature. The creature, whatever it might be, has its back to the camera as it rummages through the trees. Suddenly, it lifts its head, revealing itself. It's not known what it is exactly, but what happens next is surprising. It slowly vanishes into thin air. Considering its size and distance, some might mistake it for a Bigfoot, but its sudden vanishing act leaves us utterly baffled. What was that creature? Is that the ghost of a Bigfoot, or is it some kind of new spirit entirely? Is the video even real at all? Well, it's hard to say, but share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Next, we have footage that we're still scratching our heads about. Perhaps you could shed some light on it. In the footage, we see an object rotating in the sky in a circular fashion. It begins slowly and gradually picks up speed and altitude. It's like something out of a movie, with meta-humans controlling objects using their minds, telekinesis. But telekinesis isn't real, right? Considering the strange phenomena we've encountered on this channel, well, maybe we shouldn't dismiss the possibility outright. Who knows, what we're witnessing might be the physical manifestation of some ethereal being in our plane. It's hard to say for sure, but what do you think? We would like to hear your thoughts. Is that water flowing out of a tree? Yes. Is it cursed? Definitely not. Then why is it bleeding? Allow me to explain. While this may look odd and very disturbing, trust me when I say it's perfectly normal. Not healthy, but normal. This tree isn't cursed and neither is it alive and bleeding from being cut. Instead, this tree is very sick. Very sick. It's suffering from something we call the wet wood disease. This is caused by bacteria, which causes the affected area to become wet, slimy, and discolored. The unusually high water content will make the tree soft and spongy, and in some situations give it a musty and sour smell. If your tree ever becomes like this, it may be best to just cut it down, but it's in no way cursed. At first glance, this looks like a beautiful drone shot showing us the nice foliage near the house of whoever owns the drone. But in the next few seconds, we realize there's actually more. Look closely, specifically to the right hand of your screen. Did you see it? There's a giant moving through the woods. Although it's walking upright, it doesn't look like it's human, and neither does it seem like it's any ape species we know. I might be tempted to once again say the elusive, mythical, and legendary Bigfoot has been captured on camera, but that'll probably be one time too many. If you've watched our previous videos, you've heard me say Bigfoot sightings have increased and they continually seem to increase. Why is this happening? No one knows, but whatever the case, I think we need to be on guard. This is no conspiracy theory. The videos are there as proof. Back to this particular footage, it's a cause for concern. While we have seen many Bigfoot videos on this channel, this is the first time we've actually seen one this close to a settlement or house. I don't know, but I'm all of a sudden concerned for whomever the owner of the property and footage is. Do tell me, believer in Bigfoot or not, assuming you owned a property, would you stay there after seeing this so close to your home? Do tell in the comments section. If you thought the Bigfoot footage was weird, then I don't know what you'll make of this. Hold onto your fishing rods, folks, as we cast our line into the riveting tale of a father-son fishing expedition turned heart-pounding encounter. The man went fishing with his little boy at a river. He handed the fishing rod to the boy while he filmed the proud moment when his son caught his first fish. As the boy was pulling his catch to the land, something unexpected happened. A crocodile emerged out of nowhere in pursuit of the boy's fish. The father acted quickly to ensure the safety of his son, rushing to pick him up and avoid any potential harm from the reptile. Unfortunately, the crocodile managed to steal the fish, but they at least got to keep their limbs. It's a wild and sad case, but we can't exactly call the cops on this guy. If you want to go fishing with your kids, stay away from dangerous waters. Now, what do we have here? A pillar of clouds from the sky? The clouds, usually ephemeral and whimsically shaped, have taken on an extraordinary form, ascending majestically into the atmosphere like an otherworldly tower. The sky, once a canvas for the ever-shifting dance of clouds, now hosts this vertical anomaly, prompting questions about the atmospheric forces at play. As observers gaze upward, speculation and curiosity intertwine. Could this be a manifestation of meteorological rarity, an intricate interplay of air currents and moisture resulting in a captivating vertical display, or does it harbor a more mysterious origin, evoking the fantastical realms of the unknown? The cubs of many predators in the wild love to play, and these bears are no exception. Playing is actually very good as it helps them build bonds and learn hunting and fighting skills. For bear cubs, the situation is no different, and these cubs took advantage of their time alone to do this. I know they're cute, I know you want to pet them, and I know you want to give them a big teddy bear hug, but no matter how strong these urges are, resist them. Mama is always right around the corner, and you might just end up as lunch if you were ever to go near her cubs. Seriously, an aggressive, angry mama bear is the last thing you would want on your tail. Does this make your skin crawl? Well, for this mole rat, that's the least of its worries. It's literally seconds away from meeting its creator. Imagine going out on a stroll and coming across something like this. Well, unfortunately, this is something that happens more often than we would like to admit. It's probably already game over for that mole rat. Steve the snake would never pass on an opportunity to have a sumptuous meal like this. While you may love chicken wraps, Steve is not particularly picky and wouldn't mind having this mole rat. The good thing about this, though, is he won't be having another meal anytime soon. Snakes such as Steve only eat what they have to and wouldn't need to eat again until this mole rat, whom we're going to call Fred, is totally digested. Good thing Steve and his family don't go out for dinners often. I mean, can you imagine the sight of 6 or more of these snakes on a killing spree and eating a number of these mole rats at the same time? Well, I don't want to imagine such a scene. Humans might end up next on their menu. Can you guess the species of the snake, though? The correct answer will win you a shout-out in our next video. In this footage circulating the internet, the scene unfolds as an alien-like creature lies on a table, surrounded by scrubbed-in doctors engaging in what appears to be an autopsy. The gravity of the moment prompts a crucial question. Is this a genuine encounter with an otherworldly being, or an elaborate hoax designed to captivate the imagination? Yet, as with many cryptic encounters, the authenticity of this footage is shrouded in uncertainty. The implications of such an event, if real, could be a monumental revelation that we're not alone in the universe. Skepticism, however, prevails as the mystery surrounding UFO sightings, abductions, and purported alien interactions persists. What's your say on the matter? A sea adventure meant for joy and exploration takes a perilous turn as tourists embark on a boat trip to the picturesque Blue Lagoon in Tanzania. The journey, initially filled with excitement, quickly transforms into a harrowing experience when the boat begins to flood midway. Caught in the unfolding drama, passengers find themselves clinging to the pillars of the boat in a desperate bid for safety. The relentless influx of water becomes an ominous threat, prompting a collective effort to navigate the treacherous situation. Outside the boat, an onlooker captures the unfolding ordeal, providing a gripping visual narrative of the sinking vessel. The juxtaposition of the stunning ocean scenery and the imminent danger emphasizes the paradox of nature, its breathtaking beauty and formidable unpredictability.
They are sunk. I never thought I would see these lights.
Imagine driving on a highway and coming across a wolf walking on its hind legs. Think it's weird? Watch the footage. Did you see that? Was that not a wolf? Now we're used to seeing fairy tale creatures walk on their hind legs, such as the villainous wolf in Puss in Boots. Could this be paranormal? Could we be looking at the mythical vulva creature? Could this be the very first footage of this creature? If you're not familiar with the legend of the vulva wolf, allow me to enlighten you. Legend speaks of a wolf that lives in solitary places such as caves and abandoned houses. He's said to have the head of a wolf and walk on 2 hind legs as a human does, which is exactly what we're seeing in this video. Despite its fearsome and worrying appearance, the wolver is what many would call a bringer of life. Unlike the wolf in Puss in Boots, he helps out the poor and sometimes leaves fish and other food items for them. If that's indeed the vulva, then he was surely on his way to bless a family. Some insist this is fake, but I don't see it. Perhaps it's because I'm truly hoping this is the first modern video of the vulva. What do you think? Have you ever been scared out of your own room by a cockroach? Well, you are not alone. I'm not ashamed to say I've been too, but this footage does make me feel better about myself. I've always thought of cockroaches as these vile, unshakable creatures that could withstand anything and had no concept of fear. That was at least until I saw this video. All of a sudden, I realized cockroaches are not as resilient or bold as I thought they were. Not only was a cockroach running from the wasp, but it also made an easy meal out of it. Perhaps I need to redirect all of my entomophobia toward wasps. If the way the video look confuses you, it's only because you're seeing thermal footage of a camera situated in the woods. The video captures a creature initially crouched in the grass, moving slowly, and later standing on its 2 feet, locking its gaze onto the camera. What creature is it? The thing is, no one knows. Members of the paranormal community believe it's a Bigfoot, as it ticks all the boxes. But here's where things get complicated. Some skeptics believe the footage is nothing but a hoax, suggesting that it could simply be a person in a costume. Naturally, this has led to a heated debate among both parties. But what do you think? Is this the real deal, or are we dealing with an elaborate hoax? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Just take a look at the capture. Did you see it? There's an ape-like creature hiding behind a tree. The creature looks at least 7 to 8 feet tall and has black fur all over it. Despite having fur from head to toe, its posture and stance are eerily human. Why is it hiding, you ask? Well, if I looked like that and lived near humans and knew what they were like, I'd hide too, but what is it really? If you're a long-time subscriber of this channel, then you should already know the answer. But for those of you who don't know, that's the legendary Bigfoot. Like all Bigfoot captures before this one, no one knows where the creature came from or whence it disappeared to. Despite being a known wonder, these creatures still remain a mystery to us. It's no doubt that many are skeptical of their existence. But what do you think? Is this real, or is it just an elaborate hoax? Share your thoughts with us. Stepping away from the life of crime, let us consider a different kind of life, one filled with romance and bliss, the joy of being intimate with the one. Oh, wait, this might actually be a crime scene. Yep, it's all clear now. Definitely a crime scene. What happens when your husband gets home to find you cheating? Well, this happens. That lion was lucky to get away. The dark Maine lion didn't look like he was playing at all. No wonder cheating boy didn't fight back and proceeded to run. Getting intimate with the wife of another is a crime in many places, unless, of course, you're rich. The situation is not so different in the Lion Kingdom, but if you were weaker than the husband of the lioness you're attempting to cheat on, it was a crime punishable by death. I guess that's the reason Pretty Boy ran away immediately after he got a taste of the power of her husband. Take this as your life lesson. Never cheat if you're married, and whatever you do, stay away from someone's wife or husband. It might just be the last thing you end up doing. Can you see the lion in the footage? Well, if you can't, you're already dead. I'm sure you didn't see it coming, but that's how deadly mountain lions can be. They're masters of disguise and would always go for the kill once they're sure of it. If you stood where the Trailcam was, would you have survived an attack from this mountain lion? This spine-chilling footage was captured by a night shift factory worker going about his duties when he stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. The worker noticed peculiar movements and quickly decided to film this enigmatic scene. In the footage, we witness orbs of light gliding through the darkness, moving in a strangely coordinated manner. To the worker's amazement, these ethereal orbs take the form of an enigmatic being, seemingly invincible and walking on 2 legs. Orbs of light have been long associated with paranormal and supernatural events, sparking various beliefs and theories about their origin and significance. Some interpretations suggest that these orbs might embody spirits or energy entities dancing in the unseen realms. Looking at this footage, we're tempted to believe this. But what do you think? The mystery continues with this next capture. Taken by a Bigfoot researcher, this image was believed to be an authentic and groundbreaking picture of the creature. Upon first glance, the picture doesn't reveal much. It bears a resemblance to other Bigfoot images found on the internet. However, the main distinguishing factor is that this one appears to capture the creature from its back in high resolution. The interesting bit about this image is the copyright war and the claims surrounding it. Numerous individuals, aside from the original photographer, have used the image as if it was their own, leading to legal disputes and the original uploader filing a lawsuit. Despite the legal actions, the court ultimately dismissed the case, rendering it inconsequential. If the picture is truly of no value and lacks authenticity, why would there be such a commotion surrounding it? Unless, of course, it genuinely depicts an actual Bigfoot. What do you think? Speaking of diseases, this next one is pretty disturbing. For those of us who have seen zombie movies and clips, I'm sure this looks like a scene from one of those movies, like one of those scenes right before the animals become monsters. As much as I'd love to say yes, it's a definite no. It's not as serious as it looks. What then are we looking at? Well, that's an unfortunate case of tapeworm infestation. Although we don't know how exactly the bear may have gotten infected, we do have a hunch. That's an Alaskan bear, and the Alaskan River is filled with the eggs of these creatures. They get eaten by salmon, and the bears eat the salmon. I mean, it's a whole circle of life thing, and although it does look freaky, very freaky if you ask me, unless there is some heavy infestation, Paddington the bear would be just fine. Let this serve as motivation to take your dewormers. I'm not sure you can imagine something like this happening to you. In this video, we see a brown bear chasing some wild horses, but why is this peculiar? Well, for a number of reasons. Bears and horses will typically avoid each other. While wild horses may be very dangerous and capable of taking care of themselves, there are some predators that they just wouldn't take the chance with, and the brown bear is one of those. I mean, if you got injured in the wild, there was no doctor you could go to. Your wounds would most likely get infected, and then you'd just die off. Bears know this too and would also typically stay clear of wild horses to avoid injury, unless they were desperate or provoked. Brown bears have been known to kill and eat wild horses, but it's rare, extremely rare. They would rather stick to fish, plants, small mammals such as rodents and squirrels, and believe it or not, insects as well. Large mammals such as deer or elk are part of their diet, but only in extreme conditions. That makes this footage all the more curious, especially when more than one horse is running away from the bear. But what if they're both running from something more dangerous? I mean, it's the wild after all. You can never be too sure. What do you make of it? If you're a bug enthusiast or someone with a curious mind, then prepare to be delighted by the whimsical world of caterpillars that goes beyond their crawling prowess. This man picked up a caterpillar from its terrestrial abode, but unknown to him, he was about to make a discovery he never knew he would make. He accidentally pressed the humble and was met with a tiny squeak that defied the known and conventional soundtrack of the insect kingdom. Who would have thought that these seemingly silent creatures harbored a secret symphony within their tiny, segmented bodies? It's possible that the sound could be a defensive mechanism or a response to pressure, but without more information, it remains a curious and unexpected behavior for a caterpillar. Unless, of course, one of you can explain it all, to which we're all eyes and ears. The next footage was uploaded by a Russian YouTuber with the caption, "Desert Fish." I have believed a lot of strange things in my lifetime. Some of them were true and some are obviously false. But despite how easy it is for me to believe things, I find this a pill too hard to swallow. How do you tell me these are actually fishes swimming through the desert sand? If anything, they should have been cooked as they went through the hot desert sand, but that's not what we see here. The fishes are comfortably moving along the path with the men slightly ahead of them. Unless I'm just being ignorant, this may have to be something else, or perhaps CGI at its best. What do you think? And here again we have another sighting of a large human-like creature, this time on a mountain. No one can say for sure where it was headed or from whence it came, but one thing is certain, it's way too big and hairy to be human. But what creature could it be? No other animal aside from humans moves like that, unless someone thought it was a good idea to climb a mountain wearing such a costume. There's no way that it could be human. I don't want to say it, but this is definitely another Bigfoot sighting. Call me paranoid, but Bigfoot is certainly planning something, and we need to be prepared. Ignore this warning at your own peril. But when whatever that Bigfoot and his friends are planning starts happening, don't say I didn't warn ya. Stepping away from the supernatural, we've something that is quite natural but rarely seen or known by many. Before I say any more, watch the video. Did you see the antlers of the buck fall off? If you haven't lived near deer or wildlife, you might probably be wondering if the buck is fine. But believe me when I tell you, all is well. We're familiar with snakes and frogs shedding their skin, among other wonderful creatures. Although bucks, or male deers, may not have skins to shed, they do have antlers that they equally shed during the winter months. The antlers of some just fall off, while some decide to violently shake themselves until these antlers come off. Why does this happen, though? Antlers are made of bone and tissue, which grow while covered in layers of hair and tissue. Once they grow to their full size, their blood supply is cut, which makes them hard and rough. With time, the connection between the antlers and skull gets weaker, which leads to their eventual fall. As much as I'd love to tell you there was something paranormal happening here, there is not. This is absolutely normal. Next, we've stumbled upon an eerie encounter in the woods that could send shivers down your spine. James Jones, our intrepid YouTuber, recently took a stroll through the mystical forest only to stumble upon a mysterious figure that might make you question the reality of ghostly tales. In this chilling footage, Jones captured what appears to be a shadowy figure, standing stoically amidst the trees. The figure was wearing a hat that resembled the bygone era's military style. Skeptics might argue it's merely a tree casting a peculiar shape, but upon closer inspection, this figure looked darker than the trees around. Its humanoid appearance, coupled with an uncanny stillness, raises the hair on the back of your neck. Could this be one of the fabled ghost soldiers lingering in the woods? What do you think? How far are you willing to go to protect what you own and love? In this clip, we're introduced to two bikers who are hanging out somewhere in the woods. Out of nowhere, a man drives in and then starts attacking one of them. The second panics, rides away, but soon returns to join in the fight. The aim is to help his friend. When he arrived, however, he too was attacked and given the same treatment. The video ends here, which has us wondering how the whole encounter ended. It turns out the man was simply attacking them because they were on his land. Interesting, right? If this man proved anything, it's that he was willing to go so far to make things happen, but perhaps he was willing to go a bit too far. Speaking of raccoons, this is a Trailcam shot the owner of this Trailcam never expected. I mean, who would have ever thought that 1, 2, 3, 4 raccoons would never work together to steal from a corn feeder? I mean, I know they're often likened to thieves because of their odd appearance, as though they were wearing a mask, and their shady activities at night, but this is something I never expected. Perhaps they really are the thieves of the wild after all. A Trailcam video that tells the epic battle of a fierce and deadly battle between two predators under the watchful eye of the forest gods, while both the predators, today one, becomes prey. Which, you ask? Just watch and see. Rattlesnakes may strike fear into the hearts of all who hear their rattle, but not bobcats. These medium-sized cats may look cute and harmless, but make no mistake, they are all but skilled hunters. While they may refrain from attacking humans due to our sheer size, smaller mammals form a regular part of their diet. They won't, however, decline the occasional reptilian meal, which this rattlesnake found out the hard way. It rattled its tail and struck with lightning speed, but all this would be futile. They produced absolutely no results, and the bobcat looked healthier with each strike. The same cannot, however, be said for the snake, which suffered many hits from the bobcat, until it could no longer take them. Once the snake looked like it could no longer continue, the bobcat went for the head and delivered the killing blow. Notice none of the movements of the bobcat was without meaning. It knew where to strike and where to go for the kill. As I said earlier, they may be small, but they're very skilled hunters. Next is this luminous being that was caught on a trail cam. These peculiar beings have been spotted on trail cameras, well, if we can even call them creatures. Often they appear rather small, sometimes resembling large insects, which has led to the speculations about their possible origin as alien insects. Enthusiastic UFO researchers refer to them as rods, simply because they resemble elongated shapes with spheres propelling their movements. Sadly, we only have a still image and not a video, so you won't be able to see it in motion. The real kicker? Despite various sightings, no one has been able to identify or capture one of these beings. What's intriguing is that they consistently appear on trail cameras only to vanish without leaving a trace. Certain skeptics suggest it might be a falling leaf or feather, but let's be honest, it looks nothing like either. So, could it be some alien insect or some other kind of paranormal phenomenon? Or is there a logical explanation to these shots? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Next, we have this odd and confusing set of Trailcam captures. Before I say too much, just take a look at these captures. In the first shot, it looks like a picture of an object with a lot of light on it. The next shots show otherwise, though, that it looks like the light is moving from one point to the other. Weird, right? Are those paranormal humanoids made of light? If they are, this is a first for us. We did cross-check our paranormal database and couldn't find anything. If you've ever encountered one of these, leave a description for us in the comments section. We'd be reading. Until then, we're tempted to lean toward the possibility of it being a computer-generated image, or that there's a logical explanation for it. But what say you? So this next one was sent in by a man who heard a lot of commotion in his backyard and went to investigate. Take a look.
I hope not, because it's almost falling apart. It wouldn't be very safe, but I'm going to come out here and have a look around and see if any of the neighborhood kids are messing around or anything. I'll get quiet here for a second.
You saw it too, didn't you? There was a hidden figure on his roof. It appeared to be dark and humanoid. In fact, it was almost human if not for its dark skin et al. Many who saw this thought it might be a Bigfoot, but I disagree. I don't think it's large enough, even for a juvenile Bigfoot. If it was, I don't think the frame could have held it. Also, I haven't known Bigfoots to be that acrobatic, but, well, maybe that's just me. What do you guys think we could be dealing with here? This footage was taken back in 2012 by some fishermen who were on a commercial boat. They were headed out on a regular fishing trip, hoping to catch a lot of fish, but instead of the usual catch, they found something incredible. As they pull up their net, they discover a huge creature tangled inside, trying to break free. And to make things even more surprising, a human-like arm sticks out from the mass with webbed fingers. Now, I don't know of any edible fish with hands, which has me wondering what exactly the fisherman caught. Could it be one of the legendary mermaids or a siren species, or are we dealing with something entirely new? If you thought the previous encounter was odd, brace yourself for the perplexing case of Moto Owens. This intrepid biker, a lover of the great outdoors, captured the footage you're about to witness during one of his daring adventures. As he rode along the trail, he stumbled upon an unsettling sight, scattered bones scattered across the path. But that was just the beginning. He encountered a peculiar tree oddly fallen over, as if marking the entrance to an enigmatic realm. Curiosity got the better of him, but his investigation took an ominous turn when he heard cries for help, seemingly coming from nowhere. As he cautiously searched for the source, eerie sounds of twig snapping sent shivers down his spine, compelling him to flee. However, the lure of the mystery proved too strong, and Moto returned to the woods a few days later, determined to delve deeper. The further he ventured, the more bones he found, and the atmosphere grew increasingly sinister, suffocating him with discomfort. The once vibrant forest fell into an uncanny silence devoid of any chirping or natural sounds. In that chilling moment, he caught sight of something unimaginable, a strange creature fixated on him from a distance. Panic surged through him, propelling him to run for his life, fearing the unknown entity might close on him. Our hunch is that it could have been a skinwalker, a being of dark legend capable of mimicking sounds to lure unsuspecting individuals. Surviving this ordeal, Moto was truly fortunate if this eerie encounter is indeed real. But we're dying to know. What do you think? Is this a genuine account of the supernatural? Have you ever experienced something inexplicable yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you expect to see when you set up a trail camera in the wild? Wildlife, right? Then what is this? Do you see it? Even though the video is blurry and dark, if you look closely, you'll notice some humanoid figures moving in the darkness. Naturally, when this was uploaded, different individuals had different thoughts and ideas about what it could be. The paranormal community thought we could be dealing with skinwalkers or some alien species, but the logical and scientific community described the idea as laughable and trashed it. Even after our own examination, we couldn't reach a unanimous conclusion about the being's identity. So we're turning to you. What do you believe you are seeing? Tell us in the comments section. If you've ever doubted ghosts exist, perhaps this clip is for you. Can you see it? There's a small, translucent girl walking around the room. I'm not exactly sure what the spirit is doing, but it doesn't appear to be hurting anyone. One thing's been on my mind, though. Why would a spirit be roaming in such a place? What do you guys think is going on there? Kindly share your thoughts. Have you ever been to a place and suddenly saw something that was never there a few minutes or hours earlier? What if that thing looked like this? Yeah, the man recording this footage found this strange-looking thing in the middle of nowhere, and the funny thing is, he had been there some hours before and didn't see it. So where did this come from? The fact is, no one knows, but the monolith, which is the name they're giving to this strange figure, has been seen in many other places. It always appears suddenly without a trace of how it got there. Many think the aliens are responsible, but, well, I don't think so. Frankly, I get why they think that, but Julius thinks humans might have something to do with it. Have you heard about these monoliths? Do you have a theory on their existence? Please share in the comments section. This footage captured a peculiar and beautiful sight as a mysterious light embarked on a mesmerizing journey along the horizon. This luminous apparition, adorned with an otherworldly glow, moved with grace and agility, its form shifting and morphing as if guided by an unseen force. As it moved swiftly, the contours of its shape transformed, creating an ever-changing spectacle that captured the imagination. Such sightings often evoke a sense of wonder and curiosity. The mysterious nature of the dancing light invites contemplation. Could it be a celestial phenomenon, a natural occurrence with a scientific explanation, or does it perhaps belong to the realm of the unexplained? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you've made it this far, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already. It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode. In this next Trailcam footage, we're presented with another mysterious situation. Here we have a deer minding its own business in the woods when something strange happens. A ghostly figure appears from the darkness and approaches the deer. The apparition moved very fast and looked like smoke. As soon as it gets closer to the deer, it vanishes. Now I know we have people who would say it was probably just a fog, but did you notice the deer's ear twitch as it turned its head toward the direction the figure came from? Fog or not, that deer sensed something uncanny in the air.
Look at that.
This man was out looking at the night sky when he noticed something odd with what he thought to be a star. Among all the stars in the sky, one shines brighter and hovers out rather quickly. If you know anything about stars, you know that that's not how they behave. As the video continues, this bright thing moves back and forth across the sky. It settles and finally disappears. It's unlike anything they've ever seen before.
I don't even know what to think about this.
Many who saw it don't think it's a star at all. They think we may be dealing with a spaceship. Personally, I prefer that to the other theories, such as it being a drone. But what about you guys? What comes to mind?
I've been looking out for it for a while.
Do you believe in voodoo? No? Well, how do you explain this? Yes, that's an inanimate object levitating solely on the charms of those men jumping and dancing around it. I don't know whether they're praising or worshipping, but whatever it is, it's definitely got some power to it. It's like Harry Potter without wands. Blimey. Well, I do think there's some authenticity to these African religions, and this is definitely real. Julius thinks it might just be a hoax meant to draw unsuspecting individuals in. I don't think so, though, especially because he can't explain how it's a hoax, despite his big brains. What do you guys think, though? Real or fake? What in the web is going on here? In this footage, you can see what looks like some sort of transparent cloth covering the trees. But no, my friends, that is a blanket of spiderwebs. You heard me right, spiderwebs. This phenomenon is known as ballooning or gossamer and is a behavior exhibited by certain spider species. During ballooning, spiders release silk threads into the air, and these threads can get caught by the wind, carrying the spiders with them. When many spiders engage in this behavior simultaneously, it can result in widespread webs covering trees and vegetation. This is often observed in conditions where spiders are seeking new areas or trying to disperse. For a minute, I thought I would have to get Tom Holland for answers. The very debatable post. Have a look and tell me what you see. A two-headed deer, right? I mean, we can all see it, so what's going on here? Well, different people think different things. Some perceive it's an otherworldly creature that's trying to take form in our world, which is why it has two heads. Others think it's a skinwalker that failed to transform properly. There are also some who think that it might be an optical illusion created by the angle and position of the deer and then the photographer when the picture was taken. That sounds logical when you think about it, but then there are some who think that's not it. They believe this is simply a glitch in the Matrix. Frankly speaking, I can see where they're all coming from, but looking at it yourself, what do you think we're dealing with? Share your thoughts. Now, when this started to play, I must say I thought I was seeing a large crab or some form of crustacean creature stretching its legs. I watched it over and over and over, and each time, it made my skin crawl. Being the researcher I am, thanks to the influence of Julius, I did some digging around and found out later that there was nothing ominous about this. In fact, it's just a plant feeder that slowly dissolves in the water, allowing for planned and timed feeds. Neat contraption, right? Well, that's only if you know what it is. If you don't, you may end up posting it online thinking you've captured something otherworldly. Thankfully, I'm not like that, thanks to Julius. It pained me to say that last part, but it is what it is. The one thing that came to mind when I first saw this footage was a nearly headless Nick in the Harry Potter franchise. This man, however, appears to not have a head at all. How is this possible? Well, it's not. At least, it's not supposed to be. So what are we dealing with here? Well, either this is something supernatural or it's pretty cool and a neat trick. Personally, I don't think it's real, but one of the comments on the original post caught my attention. Yeah, she believes it might belong to a race of beings that are just like humans, but only headless. What do you guys think? Next, we have this Trailcam capture that looks like the stuff of horrors. I mean, take a good look at the capture. What does it look like? If you were to ask me, I'd tell you it looks like those killer clowns from all those horror movies we watch. But is it though? Well, apparently not. Prepare for the shock of your life. Would you believe me if I told you that what you see before you is no clown? Would you believe me if I told you that what you're basically looking at is the bottom of a deer's neck? Don't think so? Take a good look again. Moving from top to bottom, you see the bottom part of the deer's head with hair, and as you progress lower, you realize that you're essentially going down the neck of the deer connecting to its body. Do you see it? Or are we the ones imagining things? Tell us what you think. Stepping away from the supernatural, enjoy this footage of a majestic stag. Now, imagine exploring the woods only to be stopped dead in your tracks by something like this. The stag stamps its feet and lets out a powerful snort. As if that weren't intimidating enough, each snort releases steam into the atmosphere. Watching it on screen is already frightening. I can't even imagine being face to face with it. But who can blame it? Its actions are simply a fight or flight response because it feels intimidated. Hopefully, whoever it was left it alone and didn't hunt it down. It will be such a sad end for such a beautiful and magnificent specimen. Someone sent this stating he was a goat man, but once I saw the inscription, it hurt my heart because this person you see is every bit as human as you and I, only with a medical and birth defect. If you ever see someone like this, just know that they're actually suffering from microencephaly. For those unfamiliar with the term, microencephaly is a condition that affects the brain, particularly during fetal development. The term microencephaly literally means small brain. In individuals with microencephaly, the brain doesn't develop properly, resulting in a smaller than usual brain size. This condition can lead to various developmental issues and intellectual disabilities. Hopefully, this explains his behavior. Microencephaly can occur due to various factors, including genetic abnormalities, exposure to harmful substances during pregnancy, infections such as the Zika virus, or lack of proper nutrition during pregnancy. So guys, I know we love the supernatural and all related things, but sometimes it's just someone going through some birth defects. So be kind, okay? At least until we can prove that whatever you're thinking is the case. Have you ever had an unexpected and invited visitor at your home? Did they look something like this? Well, you thought that was an ominous being, didn't you? Well, for the first few seconds, that's what I thought, until the light hit. While this might have been a game if you live in America, especially in states where individuals are mandated to have a gun, I'm not sure you should be trying something like this. The funny thing is, individuals in the comments sections thought so too. Take a look at this. For the first time in a long time, I agree. You don't want to get pew-pewed while playing a prank. It can be painful and, well, deadly. Next, we have this creature that was spotted in a river in a mountainous area. This furry creature has its back turned to the camera, standing in the river with its upper torso above the water. Reportedly, the river is around 5 or 6 feet deep, making the creature remarkably tall to be so visible in the water. The uploader of the footage believes it's Bigfoot, and based on what we see, we can't dispute it. According to locals, numerous Bigfoot sightings have occurred in the vicinity, and what you're witnessing on your screen is just one of them. Though we'd love to embrace the idea of this being Bigfoot, it's hard not to notice that it appears slightly slimmer and lankier compared to previous Bigfoot sightings. Is this truly a Bigfoot, perhaps a feminine one, or are we simply dealing with an elaborate hoax to garner views? Share your thoughts with us. We present footage of the elusive and charming kiwis. These unique birds are often considered more akin to mammals due to their inability to fly. Unlike most birds, kiwis lay eggs and their chicks hatch fully feathered, defying the norms of traditional avian development. As nocturnal beings, they seek refuge in burrows and build their nests there. Their poor eyesight keeps them hidden during the day, and they emerge under the veil of night to scurry in search of their favorite meals, worms, and insects. Unfortunately, the journey to adulthood for kiwi chicks is fraught with peril, facing high mortality rates, with only a few managing to survive to maturity. This grim reality has pushed kiwis to the brink of extinction, making encounters with these charming creatures increasingly rare and treasured. Despite their limited eyesight, kiwis have developed other extraordinary traits to navigate their world. Their sense of hearing is exceptionally sharp, serving as a vital defense mechanism and guide during their nocturnal escapades. Additionally, their powerful claws provide them with a means of survival, aiding them in times of danger and ensuring their ability to adapt to their environment. Did you know about these birds before today? Tell us in the comments section. Still on Merfolk, take a look at this. This looks human and yet looks fishy at the same time. Do you know what else has fishy and human attributes? That's right, mermaids. I want to believe this is real. I really want to, but my brain can't get past the fact that their upper body is covered why is it covered? How would we know this isn't some doll you're trying to mislead us with? Because I have my doubts, I shared this with Julius, and as expected, he doesn't think it's real. But perhaps we're the ones being unreasonable. Do you guys think this footage is real? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Still on homeowners and property owners, the owner of this footage noticed someone was breaking into his property and set up a trail cam. From the clip, we can clearly tell it's no animal, it's human. Some who saw it thought it was weird to see a human's light reflect light, but if you have the right infrared cam, it's not so weird. Now, the main question on everyone's mind is this just an ordinary human breaking into his property for her own dubious reasons, or could we really be dealing with a supernatural being taking on the form of a human? Well, everyone who's seen the clip has joked it's his mother-in-law, but what do you guys think? Do you believe in dragons? So before you say no, watch this footage. Yep, that's an actual dragon, or at least one that looks like it's emerging from the water. Although we don't get to see its full body, we can tell from just the head that it's a very big creature. Now, the only questions we have is this real, and where was it filmed? Can this dragon fly? Can it breathe fire? Are there other types of dragons, and how have they remained hidden for so long? I know that's a lot of questions, but you can't tell me you aren't curious about them too, can you? If any one of you has more dragon videos, please send them in. We want to see them. In the heart of the dense woods, an intrepid explorer stumbled upon a discovery that ignited a wave of speculation and intrigue. Here we see a skull that's unlike anything we know. The sheer size of the skull and its distinct features defy categorization within the known spectrum of creatures. As speculation swirls, some fervently believe that this colossal cranium belongs to none other than the legendary Bigfoot. The skull's proportions and the presence of elongated fangs add an air of mystery, fueling the notion that it might be a relic from the elusive creature that has long captivated the imaginations of enthusiasts and skeptics alike. The discovery leaves many questioning the boundaries of what we know about the natural world and pondering the existence of cryptids that may elude scientific classification. So, someone sent us this video he had seen somewhere else asking if this was normal. He stated that he'd never lived in a place with snow and found it odd that snow could be rolled like this. He thought snow was supposed to be powdery and felt the government might be messing with our weather. While I don't deny my suspicions of the government messing with our weather, I don't think this is it. I did some digging around and confirmed what I already knew. This is actually possible as long as the snow is wet and sticky and not dry. As long as these conditions are met, you should be able to roll your snow. Unless, perhaps the government paid me to feed you this conspiracy. If you can believe that. It's been a while since we had an orb clip, so do enjoy this one. Right off the bat, I must say that this could qualify for the top 10 oddest and top 5 weirdest orb clips we've ever had. Not only is this present in a city, but it actually has a way of exploding or expanding, even if for a little bit, then shrinking again. It does this a couple of times and then disappears in the distance. The one who posted it said, aside from the red hue, nothing else happened in the area, and not many even noticed it, unless they were outside, since it occurred at sleeping hours. Those who saw the clip think we may actually be looking at something from the depths of CERN, but since we don't have proof, we can't pursue that theory. What do you guys think? Next, we have this alleged Bigfoot dashcam capture, and yes, I used the word alleged. Watch, and you may just see why. Do you see it? In the footage, we see a faint but very present figure moving in the distance as the vehicle is driving towards it. Within a few seconds, he disappears into the foliage. The individual driving is very convinced it's a Bigfoot and states his dashcam captured it. My problem with this is dashcams don't move around as they are stationary, unless of course he's using some modern type of equipment. Looking at the quality of the footage though, I can say I highly doubt that. What do you think? Venture into the mysterious realms of the unknown as we delve into an intriguing discovery by a Bigfoot research center. At first glance, the image reveals a tiny body reminiscent of a human baby, yet covered in a coat of brown fur that adds an uncanny twist to its appearance. The creature appears lifeless, leading all who saw it to come up with theories of what it might actually be. Skeptics lean toward the notion of it being a fabricated creation, suggesting that what they are seeing in the image is a mere human-made prototype, a cleverly crafted creation that mimics the elusive figure of a Bigfoot. The Paranormal Society, however, believes this is real, and I must say I'm with them on this one. What do you think about it? Do you believe there might be smaller men out there? And no, I don't mean dwarfs. If you don't, then this footage is for you. Did you see it? Yes, a small man peered from behind the tree and then disappeared when it felt like it was being watched. Little people have been a part of many folklore and traditions. Looking at this clip, I'm tempted to believe they're real. There's no way you're telling me this clip is edited or manipulated, or is it? Guys, tell me what you think. Personally, though, I think this is real, and I can't wait to check out the location. And of course, I'm not sharing the location with you guys until I've confirmed and seen them with my eyes. Wish me luck. Have you ever had a stalker in your life? No? Take a look at this one. The footage starts with this innocent-looking woman walking into a building. Well, according to her, she went in through her garage, but stay focused. The garage isn't our primary objective here. A few seconds after she's entered, something steps out of the shadows and we can barely see its dark limbs. It's almost as though it was contemplating whether to go in or not. But stepping away from the creature's intentions, we have to wonder what exactly is that creature. What did it want and why was it stalking the woman? Given the fact that this was posted online without any mention of an accident, we can only hope the woman is fine. But seriously, what is that? Witches in various cultures are depicted in different ways. Some believe them to be women on flying brooms at night, while others think of bloodthirsty, wicked-looking beings. There's so much variety across many cultures that the subject is interesting. Take this clip, for instance. A man was out with his friends one night when, out of nowhere, from a distance, people in white robes started to approach them. These white-robed individuals were standing on what looked like a cliff or wall. It's hard to tell with the quality of the footage, but one of them jumped down. Or perhaps more like floated down toward the man and his friends. He was so scared that you could literally tell based on how he screamed as the white-robed beings approached him. Now, he called them witches in his language, but the question on everyone's mind is, are they really witches? Julius, our in-house scientist, thinks it's ridiculous to call them witches. He thinks there are two likely scenarios. Either his friends are playing a prank on him, or it's a hoax. Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, however, thinks this might be the real deal. Personally, I've chosen to sit on the fence on this one. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Tell me, what do you guys think about it?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
Now, I've seen a lot of strange things in my day, but this is a whole new level of weirdness. We're not told where this was filmed, only that a man was exploring an area when he came across this. It looks like a tiny woman dressed in interesting clothes sitting in the middle of nowhere. When I first saw this, I thought it had to be a movie scene, but it doesn't look like it. This left me with one thought: she's either a spirit, goddess, or, simply put, a witch. I know that sounds stereotypical, but how do you explain this? Anyway, share your thoughts. I'd really like to hear them. How do you like your hot springs? How about this hot? No? Well, me neither. I've watched this video over and over and over and over, and I must say, I have no idea what's going on here. The last time I checked, clean water doesn't burst into flames no matter how hot it gets. So what could be wrong with this water? Well, we don't know. Some believe it's very contaminated and toxic. Some think it's laced with methane. Others think it might be a filter. We can't say for sure which it is, but if this dude really bathed in these toxic waters, then it's safe to say he needs a checkup, and not with a medical doctor, but with a shrink. Do you like light shows? If you do, get ready to be amazed by nature's light show. What you're seeing is an incredible glow of bioluminescent water, an absolutely mesmerizing phenomenon. Bioluminescent plankton, or algae as they're called, are the ones behind this magical glow. Anytime night falls and darkness descends upon the coastal waters, this remarkable transformation takes place. These tiny organisms are endowed with the extraordinary ability to produce light through chemical reactions within their cells and cast a radiant glow upon the surface of the sea. With each gentle movement of the water, the bioluminescent organisms shimmer and sparkle, creating a mesmerizing display that captivates all who behold it. Beautiful, isn't it? Now let's switch to some news from America.
America's largest city is bracing for an invasion of unwanted eight-legged visitors this summer. Look at these guys. They're large yellow and black critters. They're called Jaro spiders. They're originally from Asia, but since 2010, they've been spotted in nearly a dozen states between Florida and Ohio.
Meet the Jaro spider, an eight-legged web weaver that is said to be invading the East Coast. These spiders have impressive 4-inch legs and are known to be venomous. Originally native to Asia, they seem to have traveled all the way to America by air or human activities, but I prefer the air. And yes, you heard that right. Spiders flying in the air. These guys are actually capable of flight, and they achieve this by releasing silk strands into the air, allowing them to be carried by the wind. While they are indeed venomous, it's important to note that their venom is not considered dangerous to humans. Still, the idea of flying spiders is enough to give anyone the creeps. So if you're in America and gearing up for a hot summer in your bikinis and shorts, watch out for these guys. They might just drop in unannounced. In the dead of night, a man was jolted awake by a persistent knocking on his front door. Groggy and curious, he decided to investigate. As he cautiously opened the door, he was met with a terrifying sight that would haunt anyone's dreams. Reaching toward him was a slender, deathly figure. The creature, standing at an unnerving height of about 8 feet, had skin that appeared dry and lifeless. Its face was a nightmare come to life. Where its eyes should have been were only hollow voids, adding to its ghastly appearance. Reacting quickly, the man slammed the door shut, his heart racing. Thankfully, his house was equipped with a burglar-proof door, providing a barrier that this horrifying entity could not breach. The man's quick thinking and the sturdy door were his saving grace that night. But what was this creature? I guess that's a question we may never really have answered. Yes, that's an actual person trying to cross the Atlantic Ocean in inflatables. It's a human-sized hamster wheel. I'm not sure how he got the idea, but he really believes it can work. He was allegedly spotted 80 miles off the shores of Georgia, and guess where he was going? The United Kingdom. Yep, that's right. He believes this could get him there. Either we're undermining his ability to do this, or he really underestimated how much of a journey he was committing himself to. Fortunately, or unfortunately for him, authorities found him and took him off the waters. Do you guys think he could have made it? Tell us in the comments section. Yup, that's a creature standing in the dark with a pair of glowing eyes. It's definitely not human. It has extremely pale skin and the outline of its head is shaped like a skeleton. It appears to be very tall, say about 8 to 9 feet. As you try to make sense of what you are seeing, the darkness hides most of the creature's body, leaving only its spooky outline against the night sky. What do you think this could be? Kindly hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Doing so lets you stay updated and allows us to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Now let's continue with the day's episode. Embarking on a deep-sea expedition can unravel the mysteries hidden beneath the ocean's surface. For these intrepid submariners, however, their journey took an unexpected turn. In the murky depths, a webbed hand gracefully glides against the glass, unveiling a mesmerizing fishtail adorned in a luminous blue glow. The being's face makes a fleeting appearance, revealing hollow eyes that add an eerie touch to the encounter. The question echoes, could this be a glimpse of a mermaid, a legendary denizen of the deep, or something else entirely? The lore surrounding mermaids has survived for centuries, captivating human imagination with tales of aquatic beings embodying a fusion of human and piscine traits. Skepticism may cast doubt on the authenticity of such encounters, questioning whether the footage captures a genuine marine anomaly or an intricately staged spectacle. What do you think? The resurgence of a creature long thought extinct unfurls in the mysterious photo captured in the Australian wilderness. In 2019, a curious man on a walk stumbled upon a strange-looking creature, a harbinger of questions that transcend the boundaries of conventional wildlife encounters. Described as having a huge elongated tail and surpassing the size of a fox, the creature sparked speculation and led the observer to entertain the possibility that it could be a Tasmanian tiger. The blurry image, though somewhat reminiscent of the iconic extinct species. Now, before we don our Crocodile Dundee hats and declare the Tasmanian tiger's triumphant return, let's consider the facts. The thylacine, as it's scientifically known, was declared extinct in the 20th century, and no confirmed sightings have been recorded since. So are we witnessing a Lazarus moment for the Tasmanian tiger, rising from the shadows of extinction? What if I told you that the world's strongest man has got nothing on the man I'm about to introduce? Think I'm joking? Well, take a look. Yup, that's a man carrying a rock that appears to have been hewn from a mountain or something of that sort. It's not every day you get to see someone carrying one of those, since heavy machinery is typically the appropriate thing to transport them. Could this be how the pyramids were built? Well, Julius doesn't think so, and I agree with him. And no, the stars didn't align and the world is not ending. I just think he looks too comfortable to be carrying something like this. It has to be a prop. There's no way this is real. If it was, it would have reflected in his movement. Either that, or he's so strong that he doesn't need to. What do you guys think? I know you're waiting for the next clip, but my new friend Bigfoot asked me to ask you if you have liked and subscribed. If you haven't, please do so now. Thank you. Speaking of strange, take a look at this security footage. As you can see, it's night and the streets are empty. Then, from across the street, a dark entity is seen walking by, but then it stops midway and turns to look at something. Then a man in a hoodie appears, not knowing he's being watched. The hooded man goes to someone's car, opens it, and takes some stuff. While he busily searches the car, the entity starts to walk towards the thief in the car. Before he can get close, however, the man takes what he wants and proceeds to run away. And that's when things get odd, because the entity realizes it and also chases after him. This is such a strange situation. Through the whole ordeal, the man is not aware of the entity's presence. So what was that entity? Is it some sort of supernatural police? Did it catch up to the man? What did it do when it caught up with him? Do you believe in legends? What about ones about the legendary Bigfoot? Well, if you don't, perhaps this might challenge you, or not. Take a look. In this footage, we're introduced to not one, but two ginormous creatures that are seemingly exploring the woods. They've obviously not noticed that they're being filmed, but looking at them, we can't help but suspect that they might be Bigfoots. According to the uploader, this isn't the first time he's spotted these creatures. The area is a rumored hotspot for Bigfoots, and looking at their sizes, the gait, the fur, and all other features, I can see why even the paranormal community believes it's legit. But what about you? Do you believe these could really be Bigfoots? Let us know in the comment section. Imagine just taking a walk to clear your head one night when you run into this sight. Yes, that's a woman draped in a flowing white robe with her hair cascading like a waterfall. As if the sight is not ghostly enough, you can tell that she's mysteriously hovering above the trees. It's a sight that defies the laws of nature, simultaneously invoking fear and fascination. The air becomes charged with an otherworldly presence as she floats serenely, seemingly detached from the earthly realm. Who is she? A spirit? A ghost? Or perhaps a witch? Each of these is a possibility, making the whole situation not just mysterious, but complex and leaving the observer teetering between the known and the unknown. Next, we visit Australia, the home of the redback spider. Oh, sorry, I just had to get that off my chest, even though this clip has nothing to do with the highly venomous redback spider. Anyway, enjoy. If you can't recognize the skeleton you're looking at, that's fine, because almost all who saw it couldn't identify it either. Some thought it was a dugong, but that just didn't make sense. Did I say everyone? No, forgive me. The scientific and logical community couldn't identify it. The paranormal community, however, think we may be dealing with the real skeleton of a mermaid or something closely related. Looking at it, I have to agree, and because I didn't want Julius shooting down my beliefs with his poorly informed logic, I didn't tell him. But guys, tell me you don't see a mermaid when you look at this. If you do, I won't bring this subject up ever again. It's always the abandoned places. On second thought, I guess they are abandoned for a reason. This was sent in by someone who looked down into an old well, curious to see what was inside. But as they stare into the darkness, they start to feel like someone or something is watching them. But here's where it gets weird. From the bottom of the well, they see a pair of eyes looking back at them, shining in the dark. What could be living down there in this empty well? At first, I thought it might be a cat, but Julius and Aaron disagreed. They think it's either humanoid or bipedal, but it's hard to imagine anyone living in such a lonely place. So, what could we be dealing with here? Perhaps I should let you guys take point on this one. Still on cute babies, take a look at the fawn in this Trailcam video. It's quick, agile, and very playful. Absolutely cute. If I didn't already know I was looking at the fawn of a deer, I might have mistaken it for puppy behavior. But why is the fawn behaving like that? In fact, why do many babies of many animals behave like this? Turns out, it's not just to kill time, but helps them develop physical skills such as balance and agility, as well as strength and endurance. If you've seen any wildlife videos, you'd know that these are very important in the wild. A fawn will, however, usually do so in a safe and trusted environment with a parent around. This is what makes trail cameras so important. Without them, footage like this may never have been captured. Nocturnal creatures have special eyes that help them to see through the night and also reflect light. So you'll often see a pair of eyes floating in the dark when these creatures are around. In this trail cam footage, however, people are unsure if the eyes belong to an animal or something ominous. In the footage, we can see an unsuspecting moose standing in a field in the dead of the night. Behind it is a woodland, but in the woodlands are eyes floating in the dark. They seem to be stalking the moose as it moves strangely. Nature enthusiasts and skeptics alike are left pondering the identity of these eyes. Some argue it could be the calculated gaze of a mountain lion or a stealthy cougar silently maneuvering through the shadows. However, the plot thickens as a faction of believers emerges, suggesting a more cryptic presence. Could it be the elusive Bigfoot lurking in the darkness and keeping an eye on the unsuspecting moose? Next, we've got another strange clip where a man appears to be interviewing a strange-looking older individual. The man being interviewed has a pure white beard, but his body has a unique and distinctive appearance. His face, shoulders, and chest are a blend of dark and white colors, suggesting that he might have vitiligo. Additionally, his arms look very shrunken, adding to his unusual appearance. Throughout the interview, he only says batata repeatedly when the microphone is placed before him. It seems like the man might have a deformity or a condition that affects his physical condition and speech. This footage raises many questions about his background and condition. If anyone has any insights or information about this individual or his condition, please share your thoughts in the comments below.
Swear to God, that's a fucking person. Dude, flash the light! If you're a person, flash the light!
This footage surfaced on the internet and left a lot of people puzzled. It was posted by a girl who was out one night in her neighborhood when she spotted something strange in the sky. It was a mysterious figure floating in the air. The girl was convinced that it was a human up there, so she yelled out to the figure to flash a light if it was a person, and after a few seconds, there you have it. The figure flashed a light. The next time you see a mysterious being in the sky, never ask it to flash a light, but what could be going on there? Is this some new type of hoax, or did we just witness a person floating in the sky? This incident leaves us with more questions than it does with answers. Aaron is convinced this has got to be a witch, but what do you guys think is happening here? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
That's a fucking person. Dude, flash the light! If you're a person, flash the light!
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, as we shift gears from the enigmatic woods to the eerie realm of a bus station, where the inexplicable continues to unfold. Our protagonist is a woman standing with an unsettling stillness on one side of the train tracks, as though ensnared in a trance. When someone intervenes to pull her from harm's way, her subsequent behavior defies the expected. Her movements are erratic, like an NPC in a video game, eliciting a sense of otherworldliness. The question of what could be wrong with her takes center stage, prompting speculation about the potential factors at play. The trance-like state and subsequent peculiar behavior might stem from various sources: a medical condition, a psychological episode, or even the influence of substances. The footage leaves viewers in a state of bewilderment, grappling with the unsettling sight of a person seemingly disconnected from the norms of human behavior. Before we move on to the next video, just another reminder: if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now. I wouldn't want to send that Bigfoot after you. And don't forget to share with friends and family as well. Thank you very much. The line between fantasy and reality blurs in a captivating video that unveils what appears to be a lifeless dragon lying on the ground. While dragons are traditionally creatures of folklore and fairy tales, the recent surge in reports of strange creature sightings injects a sense of uncertainty into the narrative. The footage, though seemingly fantastical, prompts contemplation about the possibility of extraordinary beings existing in the world. Could this be a genuine glimpse of a creature that transcends the boundaries of myth and folklore, or does it perhaps unveil a carefully crafted spectacle, blurring the lines between reality and the fantastical? It's fascinating that monkeys are the closest animals to humans, but does that mean they can behave like humans when trained? Well, take a look at this next clip.
Are unique in the eyes of God. Now, there appears to be a beast that can talk.
You see it too, don't you? There's an ape wearing glasses and talking. There are all sorts of things wrong with the clip at just the first glance. There's an ape dressed up, wearing glasses and talking. He's not just saying random things. No, sirree. He's actually speaking English. He appears to be talking about God, too. There's something about the way he speaks that makes it look like he's addressing a crowd or lecturing. Is this real or even possible? The simple answer is no. The complex answer is still no. But we can see him, or it speaks. How? Well, some of my team members are convinced that's definitely a human being in a mask, and I'm tempted to side with them. But what if by some slim and unlikely chance this is real? Wouldn't that change everything we know about apes? Well, what am I saying? What do I even know? Clearly not much, if I'm conflicted about this. Perhaps you guys can help. What do you think we're dealing with here? Share your thoughts in the comments section. I'll be reading.
It's the devil's hand, and I'm cool. Behold, the pale hope.
Do demons and demon lords exist? Before you say no, take a look at this clip. Who or what is that? Am I the only one who sees a possible demonic overlord with horns? Now that I've said it out loud, it sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. You see the garment and possible horn, right? Tell me that doesn't look like a demon overlord. Well, it's either a demon overlord out there deciding whether to destroy those is watching over, or there's a man with a sick Halloween costume. What's your money on? In the heart of the dense woods, this curious, mysterious entity revealed itself. It's a creature that defies any known or conventional classification. With the body of a human shrouded in a coat of brown fur and the unmistakable head of a canine, this being bore the hallmark features of the legendary Dogman. As the camera zoomed in, the creature's form becomes more pronounced, its presence both mesmerizing and unsettling. The Dogman, a figure steeped in folklore and tales of the unknown, seemed to step out from the shadows of myth into the realms of the tangible, if only for a fleeting moment. The authenticity of such sightings often sparks debates. Does this footage capture a genuine encounter with an elusive creature, or is it an intricately crafted hoax designed to fuel the fires of speculation? Do you believe in spirit beings? You do? Have you heard of the Duende? If you haven't, you're in luck. Enjoy. Yeah, that's one of them. It looks like a mini human, and the man recording is even shocked. For those of you that don't know what a duende is, it's a supernatural creature or spirit often associated with the forest. It's known for its mischievous behavior and is similar to other mythical creatures found in different cultures, like elves or goblins. Well, irrespective of whether you believe it or not, we are seeing one in this footage. The individual recording states it's Colombia, which is also known to have these creatures. So has any of you ever had an encounter with these creatures? Do you even think this footage is real at all? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Have you heard the latest buzz? Cicadas are taking over the country by the trillions, creating a scene straight out of a science fiction novel. These rapid mating insects are not just increasing in numbers, some cicadas can become infected with a fungus that alters their behavior, earning them the nickname zombie cicadas. Each female cicada can lay up to 400 eggs over several weeks, but that's not all. These zombie cicadas release spores that could turn other cicadas into zombies, causing a ripple effect of widespread infection. It's an insect invasion on an unprecedented scale. The impact of this phenomenon isn't limited to the ground. Birds that prey on these zombie cicadas can end up hallucinating due to the spores. So it's not just the sheer number of cicadas that's alarming, but the ripple effects on the ecosystem. And then there's the noise. If you've ever heard cicadas in full swing, you know they are loud. Now imagine trillions of them emerging simultaneously, creating a sound comparable to a chainsaw. The constant hum and buzz are said to redefine the meaning of noise pollution. Next, we got a clip recorded by a late-night driver who was on the highway, all alone with no cars in sight when something bizarre happened. Yes, a white cloth did appear out of nowhere, floating mid-air on the side of the road. You don't need to be told this is bizarre and rather unnatural. The question on his mind and everyone else's who saw this clip was, where did this come from? The mystery of the floating cloth adds a mysterious yet unsettling element to what should have been an uneventful drive. The driver never met another car ahead, never received an explanation for what he saw. Some paranormal enthusiasts think it might be a ghost, but this is one that's considered a large pill to swallow by even enthusiasts like Aaron. But you guys have seen the clip, and what do you think?
You say hi? No? You don't want to say hi? What was that?
A woman and her child were walking on a trail when they heard a loud shriek that seems to come out of nowhere. The child, who was sitting on the ground, even heard it and began to crawl away. In another encounter, a hiker on a lonely trail heard a strange shrieking sound that started from a distance but kept getting closer.
And I keep hearing that same scream. Here it is again.
The suspected cryptid? The Skinwalker. For those who don't know, Skinwalkers are a fascinating and mysterious part of Navajo legend that has captured the imagination of people worldwide. These creatures are known for their mischievous behavior and their ability to transform into any animal they desire. They're also known to be dangerous, and it's said that they can cause harm to those who cross their path. According to Navajo tradition, the only way to kill a Skinwalker is with a bullet dipped in white ash. Despite their fictional origins, many people believe that skinwalkers are real, and there have been numerous sightings and encounters reported throughout the years. Some people claim to have heard strange sounds in the woods, such as loud shrieks and eerie howls that they believe are the calls of skinwalkers. Others have reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the darkness or even encountering animals that seem to possess an uncanny intelligence and an otherworldly aura. While some people are convinced that these encounters are proof of the existence of skinwalkers, others are more skeptical. Some argue that the sounds captured on camera could be the calls of ordinary animals or even fake sounds created to attract attention.
It's definitely not a bird or some kind of animal.
Clones have been one of the most talked about conspiracies when it comes to government cover-ups. It's a popular belief among the masses that the government creates clones of people in high positions for reasons unknown to the public. Additionally, there are also claims that celebrities are cloned as well. Now, I know you might have come across this footage several times, but let's revisit it. For those who don't know anything about it, this was taken during Katy Perry's concert in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the clip, we can see that she's on stage staring at her audience while they cheered. This iconic moment is, however, interrupted by her eyes glitching. One began to open and close uncontrollably like you typically see with a broken Barbie doll. Realizing this, she touched her temple ever so slightly and the twitching stopped. This is not normal human function, and people had a lot to say about it. While many insisted she had to be a clone, there were some who thought she might be unwell. One user pointed out the possibility of stroke, but a lot more subscribed to the idea of her being a clone of the original. Now, what do you make of it? Was this a genuine case of human cloning, or is this something else entirely?
Make even more noise for my band.
Take a look at this next footage taken from a security camera in a home. The dog is seen sitting on the floor, minding its own business. It looks to be chewing something, perhaps a bone or a toy. Out of nowhere, this happens. An unseen force suddenly moves the dog to the other side of the room. At first, I thought the dog moved by itself, but that would be just unnatural. Having looked at the clip several times, I agree it's quite unusual and disturbing, but I just can't put my finger on what's behind the whole thing. What could have caused this? There are no visible signs of anything or anyone around that could have moved the dog so abruptly. Is it a paranormal occurrence, or is there a more logical explanation we might be missing? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Hotels are very convenient when you travel to a new place and need a place to sleep or a roof over your head. However, I came across this footage that just unlocked a new type of fear for me. In the first clip, a man was in his assigned room when he saw something alarming. A tool was being passed beneath the door, attempting to unlock it. Someone was using this device to try and gain access to the room. As soon as the man noticed this, he yelled out and the person ran away. In a similar instance in the next clip, someone tied a metal hook to a rope and, like in the previous footage, passed it under the door, attempting to open it. Fortunately for the one in the room and unfortunately for the other person, the door was locked and the individual was aware. Imagine if the opposite was the case. This could have led to a tragic situation. If there's anything to learn from this clip, it's to always make sure you keep your hotel doors locked, stay vigilant, and prioritize your safety while traveling. On April the 8th, an eclipse occurred that brought about a lot of speculation and theories, some of which were quite intriguing. One particular case that caught the attention of many was the footage that a man shared.
Listen to me. I'm sitting in my house, right? You see me make a video of somebody or something in the sun. It's a clear day. It's after April the 8th, after the eclipse, so I'm coming out here.
The video was captured on April the 12th, a few days after the eclipse, and featured the sun shining brightly. However, the peculiar aspect of the video was that behind the sun, a strange figure was visible. The figure appeared to be a person walking behind the sun. The video raised many questions and left people wondering what was going on up there. As soon as the footage was shared in the paranormal community, a lot of people dismissed it as a hoax and made fun of the whole situation. However, a few people were still pretty curious about what this could be. It was in the midst of this confusion that the theories started pouring in. One theorized that we may be in the fourth dimension. According to him, this has slowly been happening since 2020. One of the most popular theories, however, was that the whole thing was nothing more than an illusion created by Project Bluebeam. Those who pushed this theory had one lingering question. What could be the motive behind such a projection? This is a question no one had answers to, so Bluebeam Tech, a shift to the fourth dimension, and a possible hoax. What's your pick? What do you guys have in mind when you think about creation? Mostly people link creation to their religion. Most religions believe that there is a God who made all this. Others also believe in the Big Bang, evolution, and a whole lot. During an interview, this man gave an interesting take on how humans were created. Take a listen.
I saw one guy that was like, I referred to him as the keeper of the DNA. Somebody way up the ladder in the Galactic Command Center that had a vault of DNA. And so they'd go, we got a planet that's this far from the sun, the gravity is this, the oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen level is this. And he could take DNA off the shelf and say, okay, we'll make a creature that will live there. And then they'd introduce it. And that was his job, to have the mixture for the right conditions, or to create the conditions on the planet, terraform the planet. That guy moved me when I was looking at him. I got real emotional, like, wow, this is very powerful. I'm really honored.
Did you hear that? So this man is a remote viewer. For those who may not be familiar with the term, a remote viewer is someone who practices remote viewing. Remote viewing is a technique that involves using extrasensory perception to gain information that is not accessible through normal sensory channels. It essentially allows a person to see or perceive things beyond the physical limitations of their body. To do this, the viewer uses various techniques to enter a relaxed or altered state of consciousness, such as meditation or visualization. On one such trip, this man says he meets a man in the Galactic Command Center who has a vault of DNA, including humans, and made us fit the resources that Earth has to provide. Now that is an interesting take on creation, unless of course you don't believe in the ESP stuff and think he's basically just daydreaming.
I saw one guy that was like, I referred to him as the keeper of the DNA.
Duendes are small humanoid creatures believed to be very mysterious, originating from Mexican cultures. Like every other paranormal creature, there are questions about whether they really exist or not. Take a look at this footage. A man was looking out for what he thought to be a rodent when out of nowhere something ran out from behind a wooden box and into a pipe laying on the ground. Take a good look at it again. Do you see that? It's very fast, so it's hard to tell its features. The only thing evident is that it's bipedal. So is this a duende or not? The speed and size of the creature make it difficult to identify clearly, leaving us to wonder about its true nature. What do you think of the whole thing, though? Share your thoughts. Do you know what's better than one bonus clip? 2 bonus clips. We've never done it before, but today we are. Can you tell us what this is? We've quizzed you before and no one had an answer. If we are able to get the right answer today, we've got something extra special for the one who discovers it. I'm going to keep a tight lip on the prize, but believe me when I say you would want this. Start your answer with the word special bonus. Tell us what exactly this is and give us one fact about it. All the best and good luck. Our eagle eyes will be watching.
The car is in the middle of the lake. And there are people in the car.
Technology is advancing at an incredible pace, but who would have thought? Cars driving through lakes and rivers? Amazing, isn't it? The person filming the car was taking a hike when he chanced on a family in a car that was in the middle of a lake. At first, he thought the car was sinking until he noticed how calm the people in the car were. The car is called the Yangtze River N8, or simply U8, and it is an electric vehicle made in China. The U8 has a limited ability to sail on water, and this feature is primarily intended for emergencies such as flash floods or unexpected water crossings. The U-8 is equipped with 4 water propellers, which allows it to move forward and steer in water. However, it's not recommended to use the car regularly in water, as it's primarily designed for land use. In fact, the U-8 is actually a hybrid vehicle, which means it can run on both electricity and gasoline. It has a top speed of 60 kilometers an hour on land and 10 kilometers an hour on water. One of the comments in the comments section suggested that the water and lithium batteries could be dangerous, but in this case, it's highly unlikely. The U-8 is designed with safety features to prevent water from getting into the battery compartment, and the battery is well protected. The U-8 has undergone rigorous testing to ensure that it's safe to use in water. This is such a cool invention, don't you think?
Oh man, how cool it is. So what do you guys think?
Well, you may have seen it earlier tonight, a mysterious sight in the sky. In the last couple of hours, our newsroom has been flooded with messages asking,
Humans tend to be highly observant beings, especially when it comes to phenomenon that we cannot explain. This is particularly true when it comes to sightings of unidentified flying objects or UAPs. Recently, there was a lot of buzz around strange lights that were spotted in the sky over the United States. Many people were convinced that this was evidence of an alien spaceship, a UFO, or even a rocket launch. Naturally, this caused a great deal of concern and unease amongst the general public. To address these concerns, experts were called in to investigate the mysterious lights and provide an explanation. Thankfully, it was revealed that the lights were not what they seemed. They were the result of the launch of Starlink satellites by SpaceX. The strange appearance of the lights was due to a phenomenon known as the twilight effect. When a device is launched into space, it reflects sunlight from the other side of the atmosphere that still has light. This creates an ethereal, otherworldly appearance, particularly during twilight hours. So the strange light observed in the sky was not an alien spaceship or any other kind of unknown object. It was simply a satellite launched by SpaceX. Thankfully, we can rest easy knowing there was no cause for alarm or concern. The Loch Ness Monster is a subject of great debate, with some people believing it's real and others thinking it's just a case of mistaken identity. But which of these two camps holds the truth? Well, take a look at our next clip. A deep-sea diver was swimming with a camera, filming her. Right behind her, a huge creature comes swimming by. It was none other than the Loch Ness Monster. From the clip we see not one, but two of these creatures, and I must add that the clip does look convincingly real. Julius, however, begs to differ. He argues that the human behavior exhibited in the clip isn't very realistic. He notes that the humans in the clip didn't even react or act surprised when the creature appeared. That to him alone is a red flag. Even if the creature was not scary, there would have been a display of shock or surprise, since seeing something like that in the deep blue sea is bound to make anyone jumpy, no matter how experienced. I must say that his argument does make sense, but a part of me wants to believe this is real so bad that I'm willing to accept a third opinion that would side with me, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. So guys, what do you think? Real or not? Let me know in the comments section. If you thought that was weird, wait till you see this next one. Yep. They look like they belong to a dragon. Don't ask me how I know that, well, they just do. The question now is, what is such a creature doing in such a place? I was getting ready to do a full expose on how dragons may be hiding in our forests until I took a second look at the clip. Those hands look like they belong to something rather enormous and huge. If they do, then holding on to such a branch should have caused it to break or at least sway due to its weight. But here's the case, the branch is barely affected. This brought me to a conclusion. Either that's a super branch or the clip is fake. Which do you think it is? The owner of a mechanical shop was reviewing his surveillance camera feed when he noticed one of his workers standing outside and talking to thin air. The worker appeared to be having an intense conversation, which understandably made the owner feel uneasy. So he decided to call the worker to find out what was happening.
Estoy revisando por la cámara del taller y este maestro está hablando solo. Le voy a preguntar por cámara qué está haciendo. ¿Aló? Oye, disculpa, pero ¿con quién estás hablando? ¿Tú me estás hablando del accidente de anoche? Claro. Juan, me estáis huellando, ¿cierto? No, pues estoy con Don Carlos aquí, pues. Es que no estáis hablando con nadie, viejo. No puede ser, pues yo tengo el caballero aquí al frente mío, pues. No estás hablando con nadie, Juan, y ayer los que chocaron murieron todos. Juan, no estás con nadie, sube y ven a ver las cámaras, tengo todo grabado.
Yes, you heard that. The worker said he was talking to a customer who had an accident the previous night. At first he even thought it was a prank, but the employee mentioning the accident made him realize that the person from the accident had died. After watching the video, I was curious and investigated whether anyone else had experienced something similar. It turns out a number of people have. Take a look at this confession. I believe it because the same thing happened to me in a cemetery. I was visiting my sister's grave who died at 16 years old. The cemetery was empty. Then all of a sudden, a man dressed in a suit and tie appeared out of nowhere. He looked alive, nothing spooky about him, and he told me he worked for the church and took care of the cemetery. We spoke about my sister's grave and her passing. I found out later that the man was indeed a ghost that many knew about. Another person stated, had this happened to a friend of mine on camera outside of the Sears automotive section. Said on the team radio that he'd run into a lost little girl needing to find her family. He walked from outside to the inside to the security area, the whole time holding his arm and hand out like he was holding the hand of a child. When he got to the security office, he told her to have a seat while the security team showed him some footage. Beyond shocked, he turned around to notice the child had completely vanished. He quit his job a few weeks later. These accounts are both chilling. While some may be skeptical, these stories are hard to ignore. What do you make of it? The concept of living in a matrix or a simulation has long been a matter of fascination for many people. Questions arise, such as who is controlling this matrix? Is it real or just a figment of our imagination? Check out an interview with Billy Carson on a podcast about the Matrix.
We're in a simulation, and you said they just found evidence of it?
As they began to learn through the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, colliding these atoms and particles together, they discovered we're living in a matrix. And then Professor James Gates took it another level and said, wow, we are living in a matrix because he discovered these symbols by the Dogons called Adinkra codes. And these Adinkra codes, when you take them from flat print and take them into three-dimensional objects, they're mathematical codes. But not any type of mathematical code, they're error-correcting codes. The same type that runs search engines and web browsers. And that is what he discovered is running the ether of space-time itself. So we have his expert analysis with his team that he put together, that we're living inside of a matrix running on error-correcting codes like our search engines and web browsers. We have the LHC confirming that we're living in a light matrix. And we also have then the double slit experiment confirming in superposition. Everything exists in multiple realities as a wave of potentials until a conscious observer collapses it into solid material.
So Carson mentions that the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, in Switzerland has confirmed the existence of a light matrix in which we are living. Moreover, the double-slit experiment also supports the idea of living in a matrix. According to him, Professor James Gates also confirms that the Adinkra codes could be used to prove this theory. Now, these sound like bold claims, but anyone who knows who Billy Carson is won't be too surprised. After all, he's the founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, Inc., and the best-selling author of The Compendium of the Emerald Tablets and Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. Is there some credibility to what he's saying, though? Well, I'll leave that up to you to decide.
With his team that he put together, that we're living inside of a matrix running on error-correcting codes like our search engines and web browsers. We have the LHC confirming that we're living in a light matrix. And we also have then the double slit experiment confirming in...
Have you ever been fascinated by jellyfish? I know I have, but not as much as I was when I saw this clip. Beautiful, isn't it? I must confess that when I saw this, I was very sure that it was some AI or digital creation, but after a bit of research and a little scolding from Julius for jumping to conclusions without a lot of research, I believe I finally figured out what this is. Behold, the deep-sea firework jellyfish, also known as Halitriphis masi. For those like me who aren't familiar with it, the deep-sea firework jellyfish is a stunning marine creature that inhabits the abyssal depths of the ocean, often found at depths exceeding 4,000 feet. This elusive species was first discovered in the eastern Pacific Ocean and has since captivated scientists and deep-sea explorers alike with its bioluminescent display. The jellyfish's name derives from its remarkable ability to emit a vibrant array of lights resembling a fireworks show. Its translucent body, adorned with radiant, pulsating colors, can burst into an intricate display of blues, purples, and gold when disturbed or during certain movements. This spectacular light show is thought to play a role in both predator deterrence and attracting prey in the perpetual darkness of its deep-sea habitat. Its tendencies are used both for locomotion and for capturing food, which primarily consists of smaller planktonic organisms. I'm tempted to add more information, such as how the jellyfish's unique light-emitting capabilities are controlled by specialized cells called photocytes, but I think this is enough. Don't you agree? As if that wasn't strange enough, at least for me, we've got this clip too. The clip starts off by showing a living area, then we see the dog move ahead to inspect something. After a few seconds, it retreats, and we don't know why. However, if you pay attention to the clip, you noticed a shadow attempting to hit the dog where it stood. Seeing it, the dog retreats to avoid getting hit. That's definitely not normal, right? This had myself and the whole team wondering what could have taken a shadow form and attempted to hit the dog for no reason. Some members of the team thought it was a shadow creature, while others thought it had to be a spirit. We kept brainstorming and analyzing the clip, trying to nail down the definite cause of the dog's behavior. After an hour, Julius, our science whiz, walks in, looks at the clip, then says it's fake, and then goes out again. I chase after him to ask why, and he states that the shadow creature looks like a hand. Someone could have been standing off camera and creating the shadows to scare the dog. I must say I didn't like this explanation very much because it didn't make us look smart at all. I laughed at Julius and told him it was not possible, but came back to evaluate my life. Guys, take a look at the clip and let us know. Do you think Julius is right, or are we right to think there's an entity there? Standing by for your feedback. While we ponder the reality of that video, we still have things to figure out, like this footage, for instance.
We're either being surrounded by friggin' UFOs or the Coast Guard. I want us in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lights we see there. They've been coming on. They were 7 lights.
In this intriguing story, a fisherman's adventure at sea took an unexpected turn when he captured some mysterious footage on his camcorder. The footage shows the beautiful orange horizon as the sun sets, and the camera pans to the distance where a red light is seen. The fisherman then zooms in to capture a closer view, but the footage becomes shaky and unsteady. Suddenly, the camera cuts to a view of more than a dozen of these red lights in the sky, which the fisherman claims to be UFOs that have been trailing his boat for a while. While this man's account of the event is fascinating, the footage is not clear enough to identify what those lights were. Despite the fisherman's claims, some were skeptical about the encounter. Some even registered their frustration about the clip being from afar. One even suggested that they should have moved closer to allow the ships to get near enough for a good shot of the ship. That has me wondering, in what world is that logical?
The state of Florida looked up into the air this morning to see a bright light streaking across the dark sky. Was it a plane?
Still on strange lights in the sky, we visit Florida, where a streak of light was seen in the night sky. It was a bright orb in the center with a beam of light diverging into the sky. It was quite the spectacle that also sparked a lot of frenzy and chaos among the residents. Once again, experts came to clarify that this was just a rocket being launched. However, people were not very convinced, and this is what they had to say. Many called it fake news. The majority were convinced that this could all be covered up for something nefarious going on there. One comment, however, got my attention, and it read, "Aren't rockets supposed to fly vertically, not horizontally?" Now, that's a good question, so I looked it up and it turns out not really. This is because launching vertically allows rockets to efficiently escape Earth's atmosphere, which requires a significant amount of thrust. However, once a rocket reaches a certain altitude and velocity, it can adjust its trajectory to move horizontally if that's what the mission requires. Another person argued that if there was indeed a rocket launch, there would have been some form of announcement. We can't confirm if there was or not, but what do you guys make of these theories and speculation? Sometimes things aren't always what they seem to be. Take a look at this clip, for instance. The lights were off, but there was light coming in through the windows, and in the middle of the room, there appeared to be the silhouette of a head. You could clearly see the nose and lips, and it looked so real. However, as the person got closer, they realized it was just a stack of caps hanging there. It's amazing how our minds can be tricked by shadows and light, making us see things that aren't really there. This footage is a perfect example of how easily we can be deceived by our perceptions. Have you ever experienced an optical illusion like this? Share your stories in the comments section. While tales of paranormal and mystical creatures can send shivers down our spines, there's something in nature that could be even more terrifying and very real. Take a look at this close-up footage of a tsunami in action. Just look at that. It's a raw force of nature ready to devour and destroy anything in its path. Not only does it look capable of that, but it's just plain scary. Watching the clip made my stomach drop, and I can't imagine how it must have felt to be there. I'm not sure where this was recorded or when it was recorded or if it's even real, but this has to be the closest I've seen anyone to be to a tornado. For those unfamiliar with it, a tornado is a rapidly rotating column of air that extends from a thunderstorm to the ground, characterized by a funnel-shaped cloud. These intense atmospheric vortices can produce winds exceeding 300 miles per hour, causing severe damage to everything in their path. Tornadoes form under specific conditions, often involving a clash between warm, moist air and cool, dry air, leading to severe weather systems known as supercells. They are capable of immense destruction due to their powerful winds and unpredictable paths, and are most commonly observed in regions like the central United States, known as Tornado Alley. It's hard to see the rest of it given how close the camera and person recording is, but I just hope they escaped without serious injuries. Can anyone who has experienced any of this confirm if this is real or not? It would help a lot. What do you see when you watch this clip? For many, it might be a reptile or dinosaur-looking thing, but for those in the Scottish Highlands, this might just be the real-life footage of the Loch Ness Monster. For those unfamiliar with it, the elusive creature, often described as a serpent or dragon-like beast, is said to inhabit the deep, murky waters of Scotland's Loch Ness, the largest freshwater lake in the British Isles. Legends and folklore surrounding the existence of this mysterious creature have been passed down through generations of Scottish culture, with sightings and encounters dating back to ancient times. In fact, the first written account of a sighting of the Loch Ness Monster dates back to the year 565 AD, when a missionary named St. Columba claimed to have seen a water beast in the lake. Since then, countless reports and sightings have been recorded, with witnesses describing the creature as having a long serpentine body, a large head, and often a pair of humps protruding from the water. Reverting to the clip, a number of individuals who saw it stated there was no way it could be real. An example is this comment. The user points out something critical they observed. The creature's front fins don't disturb the water. I didn't notice it before, but after going back to watch the clip, I must say that it does look like a hot knife going through butter. It almost looks unreal. If the concerns of the commentator are to be believed, then this certainly is a reason to believe that the clip might indeed be doctored or simply put a CGI creation. But then again, perhaps my skill in cinematography might be lacking. Has this been the only sighting? Well, not exactly. In April of 1933, a couple reported seeing an enormous creature crossing the road in front of their car near the lock. This sighting sparked widespread media attention, and soon afterward, numerous additional sightings, including eyewitness accounts, photographs, and alleged film footage purported to show the creature were reported. In the decades that followed, numerous scientific expeditions and investigations were launched to study the phenomenon. Various methods were used, including sonar surveys, underwater photography, and DNA analysis of the loch's waters. While some studies yielded inconclusive results, others suggested that the reported sightings could be attributed to natural phenomena or misidentification of known animals. Despite this, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster continues to captivate the public's imagination, and the mystery surrounding it remains unsolved. Now, what do we have here? A dry, dead fish is brought back to life by a drop of water. What sorcery is this? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the zombie fish. Not zombie in the way of eating brains, of course, but the ability to spring back to life. This fish is what many call the suckermouth catfish or pleco. These fish are found in ponds and rivers in South America and have an incredible ability to survive in extreme conditions. When their natural habitat dries up, they bury themselves in the mud and go into a state of suspended animation known as aestivation. During this period, they can survive without water or food for several months. Their metabolism slows down to the point where they require very little oxygen, and their body becomes dehydrated, as you can see in this footage. But they don't die. When the rains come and their habitat is reflooded, the fish rehydrate and come back to life. In this case, the fish was responding to the drops of water being poured on it. It might seem like a miraculous resurrection, but it's just their fantastic ability to survive extreme conditions. Take a look at this footage and put yourself in this situation. You're running from someone and you come across a metal fence. In a desperate move, you jump over the wall by boosting yourself using the fence. Now your chaser is on the other side of the fence and you think you have the upper hand. So what do? You stand there, staring at your chaser from the other side, feeling a sense of relief and teasing him a little. But then all of a sudden, he simply opens the door on the fence and steps through. The fence wasn't locked at all. What would your next move be in this situation? Would you say it's best that dinosaurs no longer exist? Considering what we know about them, humans might not exist for long if these massive creatures came out of extinction. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking when I came across this footage. In the video, we see a large creature lying lifeless on the ground. It has a huge tail, and as the camera gets closer, you realize that what we're looking at is a dragon. Take a look at the horns and the razor-sharp teeth in its slightly open mouth. What is puzzling is the presence of people in protective gear who are trying to touch the creature. Is this real footage of a mythical fire-breathing beast, or could it just be an elaborate art project or special effects? It's hard to say because I can't find any info on this anywhere, but let's hear your thoughts. The vast and mysterious ocean is considered one of the largest unexplored territories on Earth and is home to a plethora of conspiracies and creatures that remain unknown to man. One of the most popular and captivating mythical beings that the ocean is said to host is the mermaid. These magical creatures are often depicted with the upper bodies of humans and the lower bodies of fish and have been a part of human folklore for centuries. Puerto Rico, a beautiful coastal area, is no exception to this. It has its collection of mermaid legends and folklore which have been passed down through generations. Known as sirenas in Spanish, these stories may vary across different regions and communities, but the allure of mermaids remains a prominent feature of Puerto Rican folklore. In this footage, a group of people who were out fishing had an extraordinary experience. As they were on the surface, they noticed a blue glow in the water close to their boat. The glow followed them for a while before they noticed the silhouette of a human-like creature in the water. Although this sighting was different from the unusual mermaid sightings, it has left many people convinced it's the real deal. Some even suspect it might be alien. But what do you think? The sky has been a subject of fascination for humans for centuries. Despite the numerous sightings of strange objects in the sky, there are still some more sightings that continue to get viewers in a frenzy. Take a look at this particular one. This peculiar cloud with flashing lights was spotted in North Philadelphia. The unusual mass descended from the sky and vanished behind a house in the vicinity. That's definitely not how clouds are supposed to act, and the sighting quickly gained a lot of attention and even made it to Fox and ABC News. It, however, appears that this was not the first time people had seen this. Many people in the comments section also testified to seeing this strange cloud falling out of the sky at other times within the same area. There were even some from other parts of the world who claimed to have seen it in their regions too. Others had a range of opinions about what this could be. One commenter suggested that this was a drone cloaked as a cloud. Another commenter was convinced that this was a UFO. He even made a subtle argument that the flashing lights were evidence of extraterrestrial activity, and countless others agreed with him. Despite the evidence and buzz around it, a number of individuals in the paranormal community think the whole thing is a hoax meant to throw the community in disarray. You've seen the clip yourself. What do you think? A horse breeder went to the stables one morning and stumbled upon a surprising sight. The horse was standing on its hind legs with its front limbs on the wall in front of it. Now that's unusual horse behavior. Not knowing what it meant and not wanting to ask Julius, I went through the comments from the original post, and most people suggested that the horse was trying to break free from the stable. It seemed tired of the confinement, possibly feeling trapped or stressed in its environment. Others offered a different perspective, saying it was just stretching. Horses sometimes engage in behaviors that might look strange to us but are quite normal for them. Stretching could be a way for a horse to relieve muscle tension or simply a playful act. Another possibility is that the horse is displaying signs of boredom or frustration. Horses, like many animals, need mental and physical stimulation. If they're confined for too long without enough exercise or interaction, they might resort to unusual behaviors. But what do you think this could be? Could it be a sign of distress, curiosity, or just a simple stretch? There's also the possibility of wanting to mate, but that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? My money is definitely on a prison break. A man wandering through the woods encountered something that left him both startled and intrigued. Ahead of him, a small creature was crawling uphill. At first, it walked on two legs with a humanoid gait, but soon dropped to all fours and quickly vanished from sight. The creature's appearance and behavior have sparked a whirlwind of questions. It bore a striking resemblance to the goblins of folklore, small, humanoid, and elusive. The way it moved, with a blend of agility and stealth, the creature looks like a goblin. Goblins are often depicted as mischievous and elusive, dwelling in hidden places and rarely seen by humans. The sudden appearance and quick disappearance of this elusive creature align with such folklore. Now the big question is this really real, or is someone just messing with us using CGI? I'll let you guys decide that. While one type of light has been explained by experts to be a satellite launch into space, I doubt if that is the same explanation for this. These strange horizontal streaks of light were captured over Mauna Kea, in an active volcano in Hawaii on 28th of January 2023. They looked like green lasers coming from the sky onto the Earth. Many who saw it saw a Matrix reference and didn't hesitate to point it out. And there seems to be several people who have made claims of seeing these lights before. However, after much speculation, an explanation was finally given from one of the unlikeliest sources. Experts at the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, which co-owns the camera, announced on Twitter that the source was a radar device of an orbiting satellite known as ICE-SAT-2, which is owned by NASA. These reports were soon refuted by NAOJ themselves again on the 6th of February. They apologized and said that based on the trajectory, the source of the laser beam was unlikely NASA. This was confirmed by Dr. Martino Antony Jr., a NASA scientist working on ICE-SAT-2 Atlas, and his colleague Dr. Alvaro Ivanov. They did a simulation and suggested that the potential source is the Chinese Daqi-1 AEMS satellite's ACDL instrument, Science Alert reported. Now, there's a lot we can say about this, but I'll leave it to you guys. What do you make of the information I've presented? Is there something fishy going on here, or could it just be information and misunderstanding between some of the top minds in the world? The creature looks like a frog, but with the ability to stand on two legs. Its movements are similar to a bird as it perks up every few seconds. At first glance, anyone would be lost as to what the creature truly is. After a little digging around, and with a lot of help from the comments section of the original post, I discovered that the creature bears a striking resemblance to the mythical Murloc from the Warcraft series. The Murloc is a fictional creature known for its amphibious nature, savage behavior, and primitive society. These creatures have bulbous bodies, large mouths with sharp fangs, and slimy skin. According to Wiki of the creature, they primarily inhabit coastal areas and come in a variety of colors, with some resembling frogs or fish, while others resemble red-eyed tree frogs, as is the case with the creature we are currently observing. In Warcraft lore, Murlocs are hostile creatures that often attack travelers and settlements in large groups. They're known for their distinctive gurgling sounds and are feared by many in the game's universe. Now, how does a fictional game character suddenly come to life in our own? No one really knows, unless, of course, the writer found the creatures, spoke to no one about them, and decided to use them for his own militaristic purposes. Either that or this clip is definitely CGI, but as I always state, until we have enough evidence, nothing can be disproved, despite how ridiculous it looks and sounds. What do you think about the whole thing, though? Share your thoughts in the comments section. We've always said that most ghosts stay where they died or were murdered. Well, if that's true, have you ever thought of what happens to those who died in an ambulance? Well, this next clip has answers.
Like, I ain't never experienced nothing like this. So as we driving back to base, I swear I seen a face in the rearview mirror. Like,
send somebody as soon as you can.
I need to turn this engine off though, cause like we're gonna be stranded out here.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Oh, shit.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, on it, quick. don't know if you see it, but can y'all see that back door? Like, it just, oh shit. Like, it just flew open, like, can y'all, oh. Nah, what the what was that? Can y'all see it? Nah, hell no, fuck that, nah.
In the clip, we see a paramedic who appears shaken from seeing something terrifying. Given the nature of their work, you might think he saw something while in the line of duty. Once he starts talking, however, we realize that's not the case. According to him, while driving, he saw a face in his rearview mirror that made him pause. The face scared him so much that he dropped down from the ambulance. Now, this was not the face of a person on board. It was the face of a suspected paranormal, maybe a ghost. While recording, he moves to the ambulance and hears a voice coming from within it. It sounds like the voice of some sort of ghost or paranormal. He then hears a bang and then runs off. Once he's at a safe distance from the vehicle, he mentions that there's actually someone or something in the back, and if you look closely, you might see it. The clip ends with him running off, and I know what you're all thinking. How do we know this is real? Well, there's no definite way that we can know, but think of this. He's recording this in his uniform with a company vehicle. He wouldn't risk his job by doing something like that unless the vehicle and uniform were rented, which would cost more than this video is worth. Other health professionals commented on the original post, and they stated that they have had similar experiences. While we can't verify their claims, I have heard many health workers say things like this. So what do you guys think, though? Let us know in the comments section.
No, he on it quick.
And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us by classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.